Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's episode of the Friday Night Feature. Where we talk about all the movies that I've never been allowed to, but we can now. We got a special guest and we got a regular guest, so let's bring them all in. First and foremost, we have the man for whom rooftop Koreans is his favorite gender. We have Chris. How you doing, buddy?
안녕하세요.
I love that you do that every time.
Yeah, well, I'm getting over the vid, so
Yeah, you got
that
that
was
con funk.
yeah, I did. I picked up COVID at the Granite State Comic Con. That was fun.
Oh yeah, we'll be
Um,
talking about that. But let's bring in our very special guest, the woman who lives to make my life miserable, Melee K.
What is that? I don't live to make your life miserable. It's just miserable by associations on my bad.
Oh my god, you. So
Ah,
how you're lucky you're my friend.
we're like Looney Tunes, man.
Chris, I hear you did your first con.
Yep. Oh boy.
How'd you do, sir?
If I didn't rent a vehicle, I would have made a profit. I rented a vehicle and I'm in the hole.
That happens. But did you enjoy yourself?
Actually, no. I probably won't be doing those ever again.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very stressful. And it's no fault of the venue or the people that put it together. I think it was Double Midnight Comics in Manchester. Those guys rock. Like, they put together a really nice venue. They're really accommodating. Helped me out a lot. Hell, the people I sat next to at the different tables were really cool. I got along great with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I felt like I was in a different country. Like, I looked around at what everybody else was selling, and nobody wanted my shit. It was like I walked into a death metal club and I was trying to sell a power ballad.
That happens. I saw your booth and it was nothing short of amazing. You went the extra light year, sir. Like, seriously.
Thanks. Here's the thing that really saddened me was other creators marveled at the booth and they marveled at the technology more than they marveled at the content. And it was really weird. Like, it was like I had the people I could actually engage, I had like a 90% conversion. So like it was a challenge just getting anyone to engage. But once I did, I was able to actually pitch the product and sell it. But like I couldn't upsell. No, I literally the only thing I sold were books. I didn't sell any additional merchandise. So all of that excess stuff, the prints, the cards, the magnets, the figurines, whatever, the acrylic standees, none of that sold. Zero.
Yeah.
The posters, none of it. And it felt like when I was taking my marketing class, we had this course on pitching an IP. Careful, but they'll come back in greater numbers.
A superstitious and cowardly lot.
Well, it was like pitching a new IP in a hostile environment, which is what it was. It was,
dude. I know exactly how you feel. Like, I do cons all the time, and I'm like this lone indie guy. I'm an artist alley, and I'm flanked by people who are artists and like they have like recognizable IPs. And I see people swarming the booth next to me. And the booth, they're nice people on the booths. I got nothing against them, but they're selling stickers of like Owl House, or they got like all this stuff, and people are swarming over their stuff, and I have to fight for every sale. And it can be brutal.
Yeah, well, it was like it also felt. I noticed like again, I felt like I was in another country. Like, it wasn't my culture. I was asking questions like when they were giving the pitch and stuff. It was like I wanted to bring in some similarities. Like other properties or whatever. It's kind of like this, kind of like nobody knew what Record of Lodos Saga was. Yeah. Nobody knew like Ghost in the Shell. Nobody knew Inuyasha. Nobody
knew Ghost in the Shell. Oh,
yeah, none of that stuff. Nobody even knew what Logan's Run was. Even the old people, and that one weirded me out.
Have you tried? Maybe you should try anime conventions. You might have better luck there.
But that's the thing, is I was surrounded by nothing but anime, and it was all the soft, feminized pastel, like where the dudes look like chicks. Like, like the modern Fire Emblem versus the older Fire Emblem designs?
Yep. I know exactly. I trust me. I can literally envision the booths right now. I see them all the time at those cons. I'm surrounded by them.
It was really disheartening when the artist across from me, she's a great artist, but like it was all that feminized, like pretty art, and like I was always on the impression that like
Amelia's got your back, sir.
Yes. Well, I was always under the impression that like we had this warning for creators. It was like, you can't sell third-party material, meaning that if I drew a picture of Batman, that's owned by DC. I can't sell that. Like that's part of the con. Like
that's mostly in the con owners. That's mostly a cover your butt kind of clause.
Yep, and they do not enforce it whatsoever.
No con ever does. It's in every contract. Trust me, I've seen I've seen similar clauses in my contracts, and it's in every one, but they don't enforce it. Like you'll have like I saw like I was at a convention a few weeks ago, and this guy had like literally a 2-story booth, like it was like really high and was like full of like amazing like Power Rangers, Batman, Joker, like amazing art. Some of it foil, like really good stuff. And the guy was really nice too. I almost bought something.
Well, they did that. So right across from me was somebody with one of those 2-story tall freaking 11 by 17 poster, the whole shebang. And people were literally standing in front of my table, in front of my interactive kiosk with their backs to it to observe the height of this thing across from me. And it got to the point where the chick next to me, she's like, "Can you guys please move?" Like, we're trying to sell stuff here.
Yeah, and the best part is, whenever you do that, they look at you like you're the a-hole. That's the best part.
Yeah, and I was really saddened that the kiosk didn't get any love. The only people that enjoyed it were the other creators asking me how much it costs, how did I make it, what programs did I use, all that stuff. And it was like, did you want to give it a try? You want to like see what it's about? Like, it's talking about characters. It's got little trailer movies, and nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Like, if I ever want to do that again, I will probably just go as a normal convention goer with a backpack full of books and just be like,
this is why whenever indies say, "Oh, we need to do more books other than cape crap. We need to do more stuff other than superheroes." It's superheroes that what sells. Okay, like I did Torn Samurai. People like Torn Samurai, but people like Screecher more. That is a fact. Okay, I'm not even mad about it. It is what it is. So I focus on Screecher because that's what people like. It's what people are familiar with. And so, sorry, Melee. Sorry to like.
Yeah, sorry.
Your mic's you're muted.
Well,
it shouldn't be.
Well, that was.
I didn't mute you.
What?
But yeah, we're like, I'm sorry, we're having this whole entire conversation. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. No, please have the conversation. What kind of convention was it? Just comics or what?
Yeah, so Granite State Comic-Con, this was news to me. I didn't know this, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were born in New Hampshire. The two creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja. Yeah, so there was like a big like 40th anniversary or something. And Eastman and Laird were there. And like Robbie Wrist, like all the people that like I kind of was disappointed that I didn't get a chance to meet one of my all-time favorite, like Ernie Reyes Jr. was there. Dude, I love that guy. That guy's awesome. I didn't get a chance to meet him. I did see John Rhys Davis a couple of times.
Oh, that's cool.
I bumped into Johnny Bosch while I was trying to take a leak.
Oh,
see, that's awesome.
All I gotta say
that's
is
worth it alone.
I feel like a giant. Like, these people are like John Rhys Davis is probably the only one that was as tall as, if not taller than me. Everybody else.
I love how like the tall guy is the one who played the dwarf.
Yeah, but yeah, well, one thing though that I noticed though about like trying to sell this IP, like it was weird because like I got a 90% conversion rate on engagement, which talking to other people, they're like, dude, that's unheard of. Usually it's like around 50 or lower percent. Yeah, but it was just getting the engagement it was really hard to get the engagement because they'd see this thing and they'd be like, ugh, like, I don't know what the fuck this is, you know. But one thing it's got me thinking about is, so I set up a mailing list for my crowdfunding campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to launch the campaign if I can't get 100 signatures. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to sell a product that nobody wants. I'm not a bullshit.
In my experience, the hardest part is getting someone to your table. Once you have them to your table, you have a 40% chance of selling to them, in my opinion. Your stuff is great. Because getting them to the table is a third of the battle. The other third is your pitch skills, which, by the sounds of your conversion rate, sounds like your pitch skills weren't the problem here.
No,
and your obviously your product is amazing. I've seen,
Oh,
100%. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, do you have a picture of your table you could pull up so like people can kind of see that you weren't the problem here, or at least your table wasn't.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it on my.
But Melee, I know you're more of a game person, so us doing this comic talk might be I don't know.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'm just wondering if it's, because you said the books were selling, but nothing else was. I think people usually will go with the books first, and once they're familiar with your IP, then they'll actually, kind of dabble and do more. So maybe it's a matter of just having presence more than once and people recognizing it, because maybe it's just like so foreign to them. Mm-hmm. They're like, what is this? I don't know. But once
that's
they
definitely
like
part of
brand recognition, they might actually like be more willing to approach. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
Sounds like to me.
Like I certainly benefit from that. Like Melee, check this out.
That is amazing. Whoa, that looks great. Holy shit.
Chris,
touchscreen kiosk,
Chris, don't take this the wrong way, but you put way too much effort into that.
Yeah, apparently I did. Like, and I'm not trying to be like, I'm
sorry, that's a bit of a backhanded compliment. I apologize.
Yeah, it just, it's a new IP that nobody wanted.
I don't think it's nobody wanted. It's nobody's aware of it because, like for example, I sometimes have problems selling Silent Sword Samurai, but the people who get it, they love it. It's like once they see the books, they see the art, they see how good it is, they like it. The people that read Screecher tend to like it. Like I get a lot of return customers. So a lot of times when it comes to new IP, it's not so much that your book is bad, which by the way, your book is not bad. It's getting into the hands of the people. That's really the issue I see a lot.
I also think you appeal more to the gaming crowd than the comic crowd with what you're making. Just like visually looking at it, like I mean, that's like people will say World of Warcraft. I know.
Yeah, I got the same impression
than that. Like I'm not saying it is World of Warcraft, but I'm just saying like just normie association,
aesthetics.
Right? So
like if you had a table at BlizzCon,
you're gonna get gamers. Like you're gonna get the Baldur's Gate people. You're gonna get the World of Warcraft people. You're gonna get like maybe some of the like medieval Lord of the Rings type people, and those are not really the people going to the comic book stuff. They're going to the gaming stuff.
So there was a person dressed as Eowyn. No, sir.
So I think Justin Owens. Sorry, say a thing first.
Well, that was my like I thought that's what it was. I thought it was like, there's the anime people, then there's like the capes and tights people, and then there's the Dungeons and Dragons Baldur's Gates people.
That's the people you should be going for.
I was targeting the Baldur's Gate people, and I did a demographic breakdown on the people who bought my books. Oddly enough, the people who bought my books were young Black 20-somethings.
And I'm just gonna say this, like I'm not like. This is really weird to say, but like Black people actually are very supportive of indie comics.
Yeah. And well, not only that, but like I was geeking out with this dude and his sister, and they were like he was probably in his like late 20s, maybe early 30s. It's hard to tell when you get to be my age, but like I had more connection with him, and then this dude Quincy came with his hot Asian cosplaying girlfriend. Same thing. Quincy was the man. He was like, dude, this is awesome. He's like, this is everything, and then boom, it was a sale, and Quincy, if you're out there, shout out, but
and there's more people like that out there. You just need to find your audience is out there, friend.
The chick dressed as Eowyn, I'm like, hey, Eowyn, check out, if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, why don't you give Infinitale Chronicles a try? We're epic fantasy as well, just like that. I'm like sniffing my armpit, like, wow, did it?
I mean, the other thing too is like, does everyone go to the conventions purely to buy? Like, I think some people also just go for the atmosphere. I don't necessarily think everyone's there to like purchase.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, here's the thing. I'm an artist alley, so this might be a different thing. If you're wandering an artist alley, usually you're there to kind of buy. Plus, in my experience with Comic Cons, you usually are there to buy at least something.
Yeah. What you can't really see there to the left is Connery. He was selling his book Shift, and he was selling Global Frequencies kind of side story book for Mavericks, and the dude was doing gangbusters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone who keeps saying like, "Oh, we need to go move beyond superheroes." No, people want superheroes, and also there is no superhero fatigue because superhero books still sell well. If Screecher can sell 100 comics and make $500 at a convention, and I'm a no name, I'm sorry, the market is a lot healthier than people claim it to be. Sorry.
Yeah, but like what Connery would do is, he was a great barker. Like, mad props to him. He got out there and he's like, do you like animals? You like giant robots? Hey, excuse me. Hello there. Hello. Like, he was very like, it was antithetical to what I would consider as a customer something I would want to deal with. I would just be like, ugh. Like,
I'm a barker myself. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a bit of a barker.
It works. It works. Don't fault it, dude. It works.
But you got to do it a certain way. There is an art to barking. I'm just gonna say it. And you gotta kind of do it a certain way, and it's a numbers game. Barking is a numbers game first and foremost.
Dude sold out his books. He literally sold out his supply of books. I was like, good job, man.
Yeah.
What you're seeing with mine is the night before the convention. Like, this was just the initial setup. Like, I actually sold out. That entire left area was gone by the end of Sunday.
So you did sell. Like, that's the thing. So you did sell.
Yeah. I did sell. In fact, the only upsell that I made was a comic shop owner in Northampton, New Hampshire, wanted to buy one of each or whatever. And if you can see, kind of nestled between the white figurines there and the whiteboard, there's like a box, like the collector's box, and it's a big boy. It's got like everything in it. I ended up upselling him to that, and he's like, "Yeah, hey, here's my card. If you want to get your books in my shop, give me a call." So that was awesome.
I mean, that's more valuable in my opinion, because that's a whole storefront like all the time.
So I'd recommend maybe reaching out to some of your local comic shops, having them stock a little bit. Also, please don't give up on cons. Like, maybe like take a step back, kind of think about reorganize. Maybe do some Ren fairs, maybe do some anime cons. Obviously, you sold something, so there is some interest. Is there a different approach? Sure. But I do think what you're doing has merit, my friend.
Yeah, like, it wasn't that I was disappointed, because I went in with zero expectations, in all honesty. Like, I'm not talking like, oh, I didn't sell, boo-hoo. It was more of I had never been in this environment before. Let's see how it works out. And for me, I had somebody kind of back out at the last minute, and I had to rent a bigger vehicle and everything, and that cost me more money, and I had to do the whole thing by myself. And I'm not exactly, the font of health. I didn't want to bring my oxygen tank to the venue, because then I'd have to fill out a bunch of paperwork. But I basically had to do this all by, set this thing up all by myself. And there was a fat bloated corpse that looked like a giant thumb sitting in that chair for like from like 7:30 to 8 in the morning before the place opened.
As a person who does cons on my own, I empathize.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Like, fortunately, like I said, the Double Midnight guys were awesome. They were explaining, like, dude, there's like a parking garage like over here. You could literally just use this instead of having to go all the way around, and save me a bunch of trips. And then Connery, he helped me out a lot too. And yeah, dude, it was. Hey, thanks. Yeah, it was a nice thing, but just the stress, and not only that, I'm an introvert. I mean, I don't. It was so draining, and then catching COVID was not fun either. I mean,
and this is kind of where we part, because I'm an extrovert, and I find cons exhilarating. Like, I never feel more alive when I'm at the cons. So for me, I gain energy because I like socialization. So for me, the cons are like, it's like a drug to me. So it's like, ooh, socialization, I'm selling my books, happiness.
Well, I definitely felt energized when people were geeking out about my shit. Like, I had this one dude, he was trying to contact me, so I gave him a card and everything, and maybe he'll reach out. He's a local guy, has this awesome arcade. Like, this dude set up his whole like basement, furnished basement with like all the Astro City cabs and everything, Dance Dance Revolution. Yeah, it looks amazing. And he bought one of the manga. He bought the manga book, and he bought it on Saturday. Went back to his hotel room or whatever with his wife, read the whole thing. Comes back Sunday, and he's like, "Hey, are you okay with like getting like unadulterated or unfiltered feedback?" And I'm like, "Oh boy, is this where he's like, dude, your book fucking sucks," like, you know? And he's like, he just geeked out about it. He's like, "Yeah, this is pretty cool." Like,
oh my god, the dude wound you up for nothing.
Yeah. But like to have somebody actually read your shit and like go like discuss aspects of it like that's what, you know, makes my heart beat. Because
one thing I've always said is it's always great when someone buys your stuff for the first time, but what really is meaningful to me is when people buy your stuff for a second time. Like when you sell them issue 1, it's great, you know, but a lot of times it's like, oh, I want to support a local indie artist, oh, you're a nice person, I'll buy your book. But when they buy the second book, it's because they actually like your stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I loved issue 1. I want to buy issue 2. And that, to me, is more meaningful than a first issue sales. When they come back, it says, okay, like it goes beyond just supporting me. You actually like my content. And that, to me, means more than anything else.
It's just so damn hard to get like any kind of like exposure when you're pushing a new IP. Dude, first of all, if I was a like I was honestly considering this, and Bailey's probably gonna laugh at me for this, but like I was honestly considering like hiring a local cosplayer and just being a booth babe to interact with.
I mean, done it, man.
Like, dude,
if I had the money, I would have.
I'm telling you right now, if you had hired,
the best thing ever.
If you had hired like some thin, skinny white girl to dress up as your main character, you would have like seriously, like some thin, skinny white girl who's like decently charming to dress up as your character. Or even just walking around the convention a couple times.
Yeah.
You would have win a 20. A1 can walk around and be like, yeah.
Well, if I like, here's the thing is like, I made a profit because the table was like $265. Okay. So at the end of the day, I made more than that at the end of the 2 days. I made more than that. So I made table and then a little bit of profit. Unfortunately, that stupid I shouldn't say it's stupid. The Jeep Wagoneer is the most amazing vehicle I've ever driven in my life. That thing is $120,000 of pure heaven. And I drove this thing, and that was what I used to schlep all this stuff to the convention center. But had somebody come and helped me, I wouldn't have needed to spend that extra money. But like a booth babe would have been another expense on top of that, and it would.
That's why you hire the booth babe, and then she helps you set up. You hire her for both roles.
She's like 80 pounds.
Legit.
Because you might have to pay her extra to help you set up, but it's still cheaper than having 2 separate people because it's still one less mouth to feed.
That's true. Yeah, like honestly, it just. I know what I am, and I know how marketing works, dude. Like in the video game industry, whenever they did promotional marketing for like parties or like this is the Sony online entertainment holiday party or whatever, and you're like, how come none of those people are my coworkers? And it's like, oh well, because the ugly people weren't invited to the party.
Yeah,
they hired like models the industry, to pretend to...
and the video game industry is like, oh, we don't use booth babes anymore. But no, they just do something different. You notice how even if you go to E3 and like after the booth babes are gone, everyone there is uber attractive. Like you have like this cute girl, she's dressed all professional, but she's still really cute, you know. And her company blouse is just a little one size too small.
Yeah, like I can't compete with that as a fat 50-year-old juke. I mean, I can't do it. Like,
okay. This is great.
ooh, hey now.
We have a never-ending debate about Eowyn.
I mean, Chris, I love you, but there's no way in hell your character is more attractive than Liv Tyler. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
That's Arwen.
Arwen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Arwen's hot as hell, yeah.
Eowyn, yeah.
Hey, you know, the feminist icon.
What is with everyone thinking it's a feminist icon thing?
No,
it makes sense in the book.
It totally makes sense in the book.
I am no man.
Yeah,
in the book, it was how the meek were able to overcome evil.
Thank you.
Because it wasn't just Eowyn, it was Pip.
Eowyn's the soup girl.
Oh my God.
No, it was Mary. Mary also helped. He stabbed the Angmar guy or the Witch King, and then Eowyn, in his stunned state, Eowyn went and finished him off. So it was when the meek are able to take over the big government guys, or to fight back against something that's a vastly superior force. That was the whole point of it, and it was one of the most badass scenes ever. Like see crushed Theoden, his dead horse, and he's all dead, and she's like mourning her father, and then he's like, "You can't touch me," and she's like, "Oh yeah," bam, and freaking destroys him. And it was like it
was beautiful.
The problem though is modern feminism took that and went, women, vagina, women, and it just like it was like, oh my God, you missed the whole point.
Like, honestly, she's such a great character.
I mean, honestly, I like that moment. I do like that moment, but in the modern context, it does feel a little bad.
And that's what sucks.
It's kind of like people suck, man. It's not the story.
Well, it's just like a topic that we're going to discuss tonight. Modernity has ruined something.
All right, okay, let's get to the headlines then. Thank you. All right, let me fix the bag. Great booth, and I hope you do it again, sir.
I agree.
All right, but let's get on to it.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, that's hysteria.
All right, so this is a headline hysteria. We're talking about all the topics that are important, just not enough for a full episode. Girls do get it done. Oh my God. Oh, let's not talk about that scene. Let's talk about this instead. Going from cringe to cringe.
No day.
All right. So we had the Sony showcase, and we got some good stuff. You know, a Lunar collection, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they announced a new Ghost of game. I guess that's what we're calling the series now. And it's set like a couple hundred years after it. Jin Sakai is nowhere to be found. I'm sure we'll have like Legends of or whatever. And it has a girl. And a lot of people, their first reaction was, "Oh, girl woke." And I'm gonna be honest, that was my first reaction.
Yeah.
Though a lot of people, like I was on stream when I first heard it, and Bunny Girl Nick said like the studio did a really good first game. They've kind of earned a bit of benefit of the doubt, and I agree with that.
They did for me. I wish the industry earned a benefit of the doubt for me, but I'm actually the direct opposite.
That's fine.
I am not interested until they prove. Yeah, like burn me once, you know. If I keep burning myself on the oven, maybe it's me that needs to, you know.
Death by 1,000 cuts, and I'm on like $9.99. Like I gotta save my life here.
The thing that kind of pissed me off though, and this is what really chapped my ass, is everyone's using this. Like, there's a lot of people on the right that are using this as an opportunity to virtue signal, like a bunch of soy face leftists, and it's kind of disgusting. Or like, oh, why did you instantly get all mad because it's a girl? As if the last 10 years never happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that and it only goes one way. When was the last time a female protagonist was replaced by a male protagonist?
Or even better, did you hear recently that a mod on Nexus Mods that turned a black character white got removed in a few hours? But there's plenty of mods. That one, yeah.
That's infuriating.
But you can't whitewash a character that's already white. technically.
how does that work?
Yeah, like that made no sense to me. I'm like, wait, what? They're not whitewashing anything because the characters are actually white. They're just reverting.
And the actress herself is a huge red flag. You know, she is a walking
yeah. See, that's the weird thing.
I don't know. I'm blocked, so that's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I get mad.
Everyone else.
This is where I get mad. Okay, I am not cool enough to be blocked by her. I'm not currently blocked by her. I'm not cool enough, guys.
See, I don't care what her weird sicko political beliefs are, because if I couldn't separate the art from the artist, I would have never liked bands like Oasis. Those guys, I would have wanted to kick them down an elevator shaft, you know. But their music was amazing to me in the 90s. But like,
yeah, if I couldn't separate art from the artist, I could never watch a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like freaking weirdo. But like, that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was there has been a trend in the last 5-10 years of they will take an established white male hero and turn it into a woman, or replace it with a gay guy, or something else, and it's like, why not just make something new? And it's like,
or even worse,
can't. What's up?
Like the first season is good. Like this is something we've seen like the last 3 or 4 years. Like they do like a good. The first 3 episodes are good. Coincidentally, it's always the preview episodes, like Disney Plus. You notice how the first 2 episodes, the ones they premiere with, are always like, it's okay. They always wait for the crazy stuff until the 3rd episode. Or like House of the Dragon. Season 1 was actually not bad. And season 2, they went off the rails. Really? And we're seeing this a lot. Or take Witcher. Witcher season 1. Honestly, not bad. Season 2. It's kind of getting weird, but you could deal with it. I haven't even
seen many. But like, I loved the whole concept of Ghost of Tsushima, because again, I bring the Assassin's Creed baggage with me wherever I go. But
that's a whole other thing.
I have spent a long time researching Japanese history. Okay, I have a reverence for it and a deep appreciation for it. And I don't care if that makes me sound like a weeb. It's probably makes me a traitor too, because I'm part Korean. But like, I love Japanese history, and I like when Shogun came out, and Shogun changed names. So you had Lord Toranaga, which was basically Tokugawa. They changed the name slightly, but the story was authentic to history. I loved it. Like, I loved every aspect of that series.
Season 2 is gonna suck.
Yeah, guarantee they're gonna make girl bosses and shit. And it's like, yeah.
No. It's because of 2 simple things. One, there's only 1 novel, so they've run out of story material. That alone. But also, that since they're creating new material, they're not going to be able to help themselves.
Oh God, yeah. And that's the other thing is, like, there are plenty of badass women in like throughout our entire like culture. Like, you remember when Samus Aran was revealed to be a chick, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "No, dude, who cares? This is badass. This is Ellen Ripley. This is freaking
Lara Croft, or even in Shogun." What I really liked about the women in Shogun is they were like strong. They exhibited feminine. They were feminine. Strength.
Yep. Amen, dude. And we don't get that
Emperor's
anymore.
mother. The Emperor's mother was basically kind of the de facto emperor, but she did it through like subterfuge or whatever. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Or the other lady, her friend that was kind of like cheating on her husband.
Yeah. But like,
I liked it.
I hate the modern insistence of pulling out male characters, putting in a female character, and just making it a male character with a vagina. She's so strong. She's a quip-slinging badass. It's like, dude, there's a reason why in Aliens, when you're watching it and you see the two what's her face? What was the Jewish chick? No, the Latina. You remember?
I know who you're talking about. You ever get confused for a man? I don't know. Have you?
Yeah, like, there was a reason that works so well.
I love how I can remember the line, but not her name.
Vasquez. There you go, buddy.
Vasquez. Yes, thank you.
Everybody loved her. She got more fan mail than freaking Sigourney Weaver. But like, she went out in a blaze of glory. She wasn't the hero. You know, she was a peripheral character, and it made sense. It was
Also,
a great addition.
Fun fact: she's John Connor's mom in T2.
Yep. Yeah, that was awesome.
I love
really?
Yeah,
she's the one that stabs the guy through the head with the milk.
Oh my god.
yeah, that's
stepmom?
Vasquez.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't
Vasquez.
even realize. Okay.
Yeah, she's a
wow.
Jewish woman. She's not even Latina.
What? It's like blowing my mind right now.
Well, apparently,
Yeah.
honestly, I've had some Jewish made burritos. They're pretty good. So
That's right. They're
Wait, what's
kosher.
a Jewish made burrito? That sounds like an innuendo.
I
I'm
woke
just
up and they
saying.
left a
I mean,
Jewish
I
burrito on the
I
toilet.
could go on, but it might be a little bit TMI. So
I don't want to know.
We had a wild night. There was a Jewish made
No,
burrito left on the
but-
pillow.
but Melee, as the sole female representative on the stream, what is your thoughts about this?
When I first saw the trailer, I didn't really care that there was a female protagonist, not because I disagree with like what's happening right now. I obviously see all of it. So I'm not in that camp of like, oh, it's fine. Like, yeah, they're definitely not doing that, whatever. I had played Ghost of Tsushima for the first time over the weekend and I had a lot of fun with it.
Great game.
And then the state of play happened and I was like, oh, there's another Ghost game. That's cool. And I played like mostly multiplayer, but I did start some of the campaign and like within the first hour, there's like a strong female character. So to me, it didn't seem out of left field that they would have like a female character in the sequel. And I didn't even, because I have so little context on the story, at first I was like, is this that character? I don't know where this is in the timeline. And then I looked into it and it's like 300-year difference because Jin's story is done. So this is just like a whole new character. So like for me, I understand everyone's hesitation. I get it. And I think you should like have that kind of, you should be concerned in some ways because we keep seeing it, right? And Assassin's Creed Shadows is not helping that case. All these other games are not helping the case. Like, I get it. I get where people are hesitating, but I didn't jump to that conclusion personally. I was like, oh, this game looks interesting. I might check it out eventually. And then I was casually like on Twitter and I saw, you know, someone talking about the game and I was like, oh, cool and whatever. And they're like, oh, congrats to whatever her name is for getting the role. So I was like, oh, cool. Let's see if she's talking about the game. Oh, I'm blocked. Okay.
Well,
That's
fuck
my
you
whole
then.
interaction with
Fuck
this. And I'm
you
like,
then. Fuck this
what?
bitch.
No,
like-
she did you a favor, dude. Like,
but I'm like, I don't
that-
even know who you are.
it is some unhinged shit. So apparently she had one of those and then everybody clapped stories in her
Of course.
and it was like, so I was with my girlfriend and my smoking hot them fatale. Okay, that's right. Them fatale.
Oh my God. It's
And like
just
this
so
guy
much.
came over to us and I was gonna kick his ass. Or it was like, what is your malfunction? Damn, girl. Just say
It's
you
just-
hate your dad. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's just prime.
Exactly. So I don't know. Like, I'm still, for me, if there's a voice actress or whatever in a game that's like paused, but everyone else is fine and the creators behind it are fine, I don't really care a lot of the times. I mean, I love Final Fantasy 16 from what I've played so far of it. And if you look at Clive's Twitter, oh my God, he's like unbearable to deal with. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. I tried to play the demo of Final Fantasy 16 when it hit Steam. When I got to like the 30-minute mark of cutscenes, and I played like maybe 3 minutes worth of game, and that 3 minutes was just walking on a ridge. I'm like, nope, I'm not interested.
And I get it. It's a completely different direction from the old classic Final. This is totally derailing. I'm sorry, but it's a totally different direction from the classic Final Fantasy, and I get why classic Final Fantasies are not a fan of it. I love Devil May Cry as well, so I'm kind of like I'm okay with this because I love both gameplay styles. I digress. Anyways, I don't really.
I'm sure if I got
into
into the gameplay, I probably would enjoy it. Like I thought Final Fantasy 15 was good. Well, the first half anyway. The second half, when it went on rails, I wasn't enjoying that part.
The problem with that game is it's baby's first hack and slash, and it's very unbaked. But then, like, it's very junior in it. But like anyone playing that game by that point would have already played so many other more impactful hack and slashes that it's like, why? This should be at like the beginning of the genre.
My problem with FF15 was in the first half, when it's open world, I was enjoying it. I thought it was fun. I kind of took the game at my own pace. Like I could do side quests, I could stop the main quest, do the side quest. It's cool. But then when he left the island, it literally went from open world to on rails, and from main quest to main quest to main quest, and I just didn't enjoy it.
That's valid. But yeah, with this whole thing, I don't care if there's like one bad egg in it, right? Like for me it's like whatever. But obviously it's jarring when you see somebody's blocked you and you don't even know anything about the game. You're just learning about it, whatever. I'm like, why? Like, I don't get this. So for me, it's still not stopping me from being interested in the game at this point. But I understand why a lot of people are reacting negatively to it, because this is just all par for the course. It's red flags.
Yep.
This is exactly what's.
And you thought we weren't on the same page.
I don't know. Maybe there's things you've said online about it that I don't agree with necessarily. You've been getting upset at people slinging insults back and forth, and I'm fine with it. So I think that's where you and I disagree more so. I don't care if people insult each other. I think you can't take it so personally. Like,
I think it's not helpful to a discourse. Like you want to have a discourse, but you're insulting people. You're just making people adopt a defensive culture. It's like when you insult people, they dig in their heels. And they can even fully know they're wrong, but they're not going to admit it because you're insulting them. If you make it an attack, people will defend. If you make it a discourse, then people are more willing to change their opinion. You're not going to change anybody's opinion by telling them they're a stupid poopy head.
Well,
no, but you called people soy boys earlier in this conversation. So it's like, to me, it's like everyone slings insults, but it's how personally we all take it. If somebody insults me, I just like laugh back. Honestly, I don't really care. I get that the internet is like this and people just go at it. Like,
can you confirm?
Yes, I love that. To me, I am a shit poster at heart. I love it. I don't know. I grew up on old internet, right? Like I am somebody who is like reading like 4chan and stuff all the time. And this does not bother me at all. But I get that some people are more sensitive to it, and I understand that people want to have a legitimate dialogue and whatever. I get all that. I'm just
sick and tired of the combat
internet's
sports.
Hyperbolic though. The internet is just like that, and everyone will say things and whatever, and if we let that get to us so deeply, you're gonna burn out and you're not gonna be able to deal with it, and it's gonna skew you even more. So I think
that's
a lot
fine
of people...
if this is like a... Sorry, go ahead. I'm talking.
No. But I'm just saying, like, if people understand, like, this is a stranger on the internet, or if you have a relationship with whoever, but it's still like through the internet, like, if somebody is insulting me back and forth, I don't really care, because you're not like my husband or like my best friend or whatever, like somebody in my life that is like there consistently, who has been there through trials and tribulations, whatever. You are somebody on the internet giving me an insult. I am secure enough with myself to understand that when you call me a name, that it's probably not true. And if it is, why do I care if you think it? I care about what I think about myself.
Because
so it's that, to me, is the thing, is everyone takes everything so personally on the internet, and that's why it gets super heated.
Because it's a game, it's a competition. It's they want to win. Sure. And we're trying, like, they want their side to win. And I'm just tired of the game of we want our side to win, but it's wrapped up in this I'm right, you're wrong. We're pretending to try and influence the other, but no, it's a game, and
it's performative
to win. It's performative, and
you can't control if people are performative. But I also think that like people should just be true to themselves. If that's their nature and they're a little more combative, then so be it. I don't think that's.
I've actually never seen that film, so
Paul Heyman. But here's something, Melee, you bring up a really good point about like that sense of self, like. I think social media, especially the younger generations, has instilled a form of like synthetic narcissism where external validation is imperative. Like there are people that like off themselves over feuds over the internet. It's like, you could just log off. like, you know what I mean? Like I'm a Gen Xer. I come from where like somebody actually kicks your door in and like beats the shit out of you.
Well, it's all tribalism, right? Like everybody wants to be part of a tribe, and they want to feel like people agree with them, and so like people will start to compromise on their beliefs because they want to get along with people, and I just don't agree with that. Like I will be nice to you, but I'm not gonna just pretend I agree one way or another, and I will match people's heat. So if somebody gets more heated, I also get more heated.
Hell yeah.
And more times than not, I end up just laughing at people, because at the end of the day, for me, everything is a point and laugh situation. That's how I approach it.
Here, Melee,
and everyone has their what?
Eat a Snickers because you turn into a homicidal maniac when you get angry.
God, no. But I'm just saying, like, I get it that people want to have legitimate conversations on the internet, and that's fine. But you have to understand that behind a keyboard, there's only a certain amount of accountability, and you can't expect people to be at your standard. Like, you can have your own standard, and you can approach it and go in good faith. And I think that's very admirable, and you should. But at the same time, to expect that out of others is just too much to ask from somebody that doesn't have any stakes in like what your feelings are for them. That's all it is to me.
Yeah, and there's people who will go into a conversation. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't care about the whole block equals lost. Honestly, one of the egos that I've had to get rid of is I don't care if someone blocks and then they like, oh hey, look, I earned a block. I do the same thing. But if I block you and you do it, I don't care. I'll let you have your little victory for my peace of mind.
Well, when the whole Assassin's Creed thing happened, when I put my little bitch fit about how the 10 years of my freaking career in the video game industry, I have nothing to show for it, and that's apparently. Well, yeah, okay. So I have a bunch of discs that when you try to install the game, it doesn't go anywhere because the servers are shut down. And I have a bunch of promo posters.
You bought a bunch of Concord discs?
No, they gave me comp discs, but like, yeah, fuck, dude, they're coasters now. But it really sucked because like some YouTubers reached out to me directly, and dude, kudos to them. They're like, hey, I'm not gonna go run with this story. I want to know exactly what's going on. Guy asked, he's like, I found your shit on LinkedIn. Is this you? Obviously, blah, blah, blah. I just want to confirm. I'm like, yeah, whatever. He did his thing. No problem. Then I had other people where I'm like, somehow YouTube is like sharing recommendations. And I get this British guy who's like, former lead designer of Assassin's Creed Shadows, Chris Fitz, spills the tea about
and then your former boss steals your work.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
We have the Don.
Hey,
I mean, the internet runs with stuff. This is a whole other thing, right?
But I started getting phone calls. You're a fucking liar, and like emails and DMs.
What?
Like, you never worked at that. You worked in some shitty mobile game, and you're a fucking failure, and that's why you're not in the industry. And I'm like, what the hell is all this? Like, I woke up the next morning, and you know how you get the little icon that's like 9+ messages or whatever on the little the badge. And I'm like, oh, what's that? I hit it, and it was just a whole bunch of DMs. I was like, I'm like, holy shit, what the hell happened? And just rage, and then my voicemail box, and then my email. And I'm like, block.
That's a whole other layer that you're talking about, right? Like, to me, it's legitimate to be like, what is this, right? Versus like arguing harassment over the internet. It's like, I'm just tweeting at you, like that's not as big of a deal. But actually getting like spammed with calls and all this stuff, I can understand if that's more upsetting. Like obviously that would be, right?
Yeah.
So
I was just confused. I'm like, what is going on? And then I see the freaking YouTube things, and they're like, I had to literally reply to my post, and I'm like, apparently some people took my shit and ran with it. Here's what I said, like, and then I did a bulleted thing, like I never.
And that's why when this shit was blowing up, I asked, because you're on my stream all the time. I had direct access to you. I asked you if you were comfortable. You said no, and I respected it.
Yeah. It was because I was getting just like it was coming in all these directions, and I'm like, all I did was back in 2014, they shipped us out to Japan. We did a shit. In fact, actually, my buddy Masato, who's one of my coworkers, a great artist, he actually just messaged me today. He just messaged me and he said, ooh, a huge banana spider. He just messaged me today, and he goes, hey, did you hear Ubisoft is fucking up the Japanese shit? Like, yeah. It's like, dude, you guys did more research in that 1 year than they've done in the 8 years of development or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like this is bullshit.
yeah, damn, man. Sorry that happened to you. That's really frustrating.
Well, what sucks is it's like, so yeah, it happened to me, blah, blah, boo-hoo. But like, this is why I hate the video game industry, because there are people that are a lot more talented than me, that have spent more years, that have given up more, who are getting bent over and puff daddied more than me across the board.
Oh, yeah, that is all we're talking about. That is all we're gonna say about that.
Yeah, it was
get out of here.
No, so I wasn't the only one that did this. There was a team of us. Like, you don't work on a video game by yourself, unless you're like this guy Scott that I knew when I worked at Red 5, who like basically was a genius. But like, I had a team of people. This guy Jesse was our lead writer. The Amar over in freaking Ubisoft, we'd run the shit through. We'd get it all canonized because like Ubisoft had a very strong stick up their ass when it came to anachronisms and consistency. You could not write a story without having to make sure that somewhere in their officially canonized Ubisoft Assassin's Creed timeline that it didn't bump into other things. And if it did, then you had to go and talk to those other people and say, hey, we're going to go over to Musayef or whatever, and we're going to go talk to Altair and Darum or whatever. And they're like, well, you can't because they're dead at that time period. It's like, oh, okay. So, there's all sorts of these, like, you needed to do that. So even if it was just a quote unquote shitty mobile game, you still had a story that fit in their canonized timeline because they wanted to make sure that they actually had historical authenticity because that was their thing. I don't remember, I don't know if you guys can remember, but back in the day, they had this pie chart of like, where do you get your history from? And it was like Assassin's Creed, and it was like a big chunk. And like, if I recall, when Notre Dame was burned down, they actually used the Notre Dame from Assassin's Creed Unity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's so shocking at how Assassin's Creed is acting now. Ubisoft, I should say.
Yep.
Because it used to be like, oh yeah, we're historically accurate, blah, blah, blah. And even then they would take liberties to my knowledge, but I don't like fully know all the history.
I mean,
it's just spitting
George
in the
Washington
face.
wasn't King of America.
What?
No, that was an Elseworlds DLC or alternate. Okay. Yeah, but that wasn't part of the main game. But like, yeah, there was painstaking detail. Like, there are some serious talent that went into this research, that went into faithfully replicating this stuff. And unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. Now we're fighting giant scorpions and hydras and Medusa and shit. Because
I mean, don't you know that you have to attack its weak point for massive damage?
Giant enemy crabs.
All right, and on that note, I am cutting a botch in this because we can make a whole stream out of this.
Oh yeah,
and we got people already wanting to talk about Flintstones, so we're gonna just get to this last headline, real quick. Oh nope, not that one. So the Dame Maggie Smith has passed, and honestly, if this were any other headline, I would have just ignored it. But this needs to be talked about. This woman touched so many lives. She was one of those people that you thought would be around forever. 89 is a heck of a run. What do you guys want to say?
I mean, to me, she's like in female Ian McKellen and all that stuff. I can't imagine losing any of them. Christopher Lee, that was all tough too, right? So I watched a movie recently of hers called Murdered by Death. It was suggested by one of my community members, Insidious Bliss, and I thought it was excellent. It pretty much was like Clue, but with Columbo and Peter Sellers and all that kind of stuff. And she was excellent in it. Oh my God, she stole the show. She just, every time she's on the screen, she lights up everything. So even like, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but she was my favorite part of Harry Potter, for example. Like everything she's in, she's just so good. And this is a devastating loss.
Hook.
For media in general and everything. Yeah, Hook as well. So
my favorite Dowager trivia. Yeah, the Dowager Countess. Like, okay, I'm one of the few guys who actually saw Downton Abbey willingly.
I love that series. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah, me too. Oh my God.
Dude, do you remember when
she's judging us? She's judging us.
Do you remember when Crowley there kicked out the Pankhurst freaking suffragettes because they were shaming guys into going to die?
Oh, the white feathers. The white feathers.
Yes, I felt so vindicated. I was like, yes, Crowley is a badass. Like, basically, they had this thing called the White Feather Campaign where they shamed
which actually happened.
Men. Yeah, this is why I hate the suffragettes. But like, these women didn't fight for equal votes. They didn't care if men of like black men or non-white men or poor women didn't get the vote. They just wanted rich women to get the vote. And they would go around to these areas where there were able-bodied men, and they would hand them a white feather of cowardice and be like, why aren't you out on the front lines dying for us? And they did that. They actually convinced a bunch of men.
Men actually committed suicide.
Yeah, because honor meant something back then. And in this show, they show like these chicks just started walking around handing out white feathers, and the main dude who's at the head of like the conference or whatever is like, "Get the frig out!" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah. And the worst part is they hand it to like one of the footmen, and
Yep.
he actually enlists, and then he dies. So those
Yep.
ladies, in a way, killed him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just so they could get a vote. You know, it's like, bitch.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Maggie Smith. She was a real one. Let's get on to the main show. So
Woo-hoo!
now, welcome. As usual, an hour in, we talk about. Oh God. We're talking about the Flintstones, 1994, or, in my opinion, the epitome of they don't make them like they used to. Melee, tear it to shreds.
Wait, so you think I'm on the tear it to shred side? Is that
You
what you're
usually are
estimating?
with my movies.
Usually, but you did make me watch Top Gun, and I mean, I've loved Top Gun my whole life, so...
Okay,
So
that's
far,
one
we're like
time.
1 out of 3, right? And this is going to be the 4th one, so let's see, is it going to be 50-50? I don't know. Well,
Oh God.
I will say I am a huge fan of the Flintstones in general as a property. I grew up on it.
Nice.
I love it. I've been watching the cartoon more recently as well.
Thank you.
Just everything with it, I've absolutely loved forever. But I had not seen this movie, and so I ended up watching this movie, and we actually ended up streaming it to our tier 2, tier 3 members, so they got to see my reaction live and everything, which was interesting for them, and got to discuss my thoughts there. I fell in love with this movie. I loved it.
Nice.
I was like, this is amazing. This is such a good set piece for the Flintstones. I loved the story that they put forward. I felt
They
like
really
stakes
leaned
made
into the
sense.
honeymooners aspect of the show.
Yes.
Dude,
and I thought like the stakes all made sense in the film. The set design.
Oh my God.
Gorgeous.
Like, here's what I love about the movie is you going down a street and you see like 5 different buildings. They all have like a parody brand on them. And you recognize them. They didn't need to do that. And then you got to realize these were all physical sets. Like nowadays, they just stick them on a green screen. Like the level of detail they went to.
Well, can I also just call out, dude, like Rick Moranis as Barney Rubble?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was so good. Hey, Fred.
I mean, honestly, everyone was perfectly cast. Rosie O'Donnell, like I gotta say,
she was great as Betty.
Okay, in the early 90s, she was a great Betty Rubble. And I'm sorry, but the actress they got for Wilma, she somehow got the accent down. I have no clue how she did it. Well, dialect.
I couldn't deal with Rosie. She was the worst part of it. Rosie O'Donnell was bad. But you know what I did realize through all of it? So first of all, I just want to agree with Justin over there. Kyle MacLachlan, oh my God, that made my life. I love Twin Peaks. Yes. I love Kale. I love everything he's in. So that instantly made me happy.
Also, like Halle Berry. I love the little digs, like Halle Berry as Sharon Stone.
So Halle Berry, I totally understand why Halle Berry got cast for other things afterwards, but she was not good in anything else she was cast for. Like, why wasn't this around when, like, she was Storm or anything? I'm like, she's great in this movie. Like, what happened? She was, like, one of the best parts of the movie, so I'm like, yeah, I get why people
well, here's the thing.
Movie.
I love, like, the little subtlety of, like, her acting. It's like when she realizes, oh wait, this Fred Flintstone guy, he's actually a pretty cool guy. I don't want, like, you can, like, she actually plays it really well. Of like you can see the wheels turning in her head. I love it.
She's slowly warming up to him, but not making it too obvious. And just you're not getting hit over the head with like, I think he's a great guy now, and wow, gee golly. It's just like subtly through her like movements, the way that they're having conversations is slowly getting more friendly. Yeah, I thought it was really good writing with all of that dynamic too. So yeah, I thought this was an excellent film. I mean, is it like film of the year? No. Obviously there's, some issues, but I thought it was really, really good. But Rosie O'Donnell was the main thing I did not like about this film. I'm just gonna be real. Like
also like this made me realize just how much I miss Liz Taylor.
Yeah.
Liz Taylor knew exactly what movie she was in. She knew exactly what movie she was in. I love it.
Now let me complain about I want to complain about one other thing.
Okay.
Why on earth were there so many feet shots in this film?
Did Dan Schneider write this film?
someone.
No, those were
Quentin
adults, not
Tarantino,
kids.
I don't know who was involved, but like
Li-
there was
li-
so
literally-
much feet, and it was gross, man.
I love
Yeah.
how I love how it's like instead of getting gas, they just wash off your feet.
That was revolting. That scene
Yes.
was like the worst. It was just like,
Blech.
please stop.
Yeah.
And we rewound
not a
that
fan of
too, and
feet.
I'm like, can we not rewind this? Like, I barely got past it the first time, and
Please-
James was
please
like,
tell
no,
me
let's
someone-
rewind it.
Please tell me someone in your comments made a Dan Schneider joke.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. That was like the first joke that was made, but yeah, there was just a lot of feet.
Harvey
It
Korman
was-
as the Dictabird was great.
like even like
Yeah.
putting on the desk, you know,
He
like
goes directed
Fred's
the
feet.
film.
Yeah, exactly.
Flintstones, a Tarantino Schneider. God,
Yeah.
dang it.
It was just bizarre to me, like the feet, but everything
Yeah.
else was really great. And yeah, I know that James' opinion was that like the movie played it a bit too safe, and I felt like it made sense for the Flintstones specifically. Like the conflict was aggressive enough for that universe, but maybe compared to other films, it didn't feel like it was as dramatic.
Like, what can you do for a Flintstones movie? Like, what kind of plot? Hey, Jerry. Like, what kind
What's
of
up,
plot
Jerry?
can you do for a Flintstones movie and have it make sense? Like, what are you gonna have? The Martian appear and like Fred goes to space?
I mean, I agree. So his input on it was like they could have had them go on vacation with different kinds of things being
That's
mentioned.
the
I thought that was a
sequel.
good idea.
That's the
Yeah, Viva
sequel.
Rock Vegas.
Oh, is it the sequel?
Yep.
Yeah,
Viva
it's-
Rock
it's-
Vegas.
It's one of those. It's one of those sequels that are like they recast everybody.
Yeah, that
Right,
was
yeah,
its
yeah, the
biggest
Viva-
downfall.
yeah. In the 2000s, right? I need to watch that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Robert Baratheon playing Fred Flintstone, so it's not all bad.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know if
Yeah.
that.
I mean, to be
You
fair,
can't
Mark
replace
Addy
John
was.
Goodman.
I mean, yeah, but if anyone could, it'd be Mark Addy. I would say.
I suppose.
he's a great actor, it's
Yo.
Kazoo was in the sequel, and Baldwin, and King Baratheon.
That's
but
so
yeah,
weird.
So Nick,
Yes.
how you doing?
Pretty good.
Nice.
So, what do you think of the Flintstones movie?
It's not my favorite, but like, yeah, I'm sorry, I have actual taste. But
Oh,
no, I like it purely because it has John Goodman in it. I'm a big fan of him.
He's
as
a
an
good
actor.
man.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he has one of those voices that just makes him feel warm and comforting. Like you hear him in Monsters Inc. as Sully. And I'm sorry, but no matter how much of a jerk they try to make him in the prequel, the university, I don't buy it. Like you just hear his voice and you're like, this is a good, kind man.
I was
And I really
almost
feel-
tempted. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, I think he really fits the role of Fred perfectly.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I really do think he fit it perfectly.
I'm definitely up until what he did to Rosie O'Donnell. I'm sorry, Roseanne. Like, I was a big fan of John Gooden, but I was almost tempted to just reburn the DVD and taking a scene from The Big Lebowski and just using the dubbed audio of John Goodman saying, "This is what happens when you a stranger in the ass." and just
Okay.
leaving.
Okay. So, speaking of John
Traumatize
Goodman,
a couple of kids.
I have to bring up this scene. This may be a future Friday night feature, but Nick, this is for
Oh.
you. Nope.
Oh my god, was that a ninja?
More like a nanja.
No, you gotta play the rest of it because the rest of it's
Oh!
gold too.
Okay.
Dialogue. What is that?
Wait.
No,
You haven't
there's a
heard-
full joke to it. It's not terrible.
Terrible what passes for a ninja these days.
All right. Melee, have you seen the Speed Racer movie?
No, I have not.
Oh my god, I
It's
might have
great.
to.
It's
Why would I watch
Okay.
Speed Racer when I can watch like Akira or something? I don't know.
Because Speed
Yeah,
Racer is
careful,
actually
you're
a
gonna
good
need
movie.
seizure medicine. Like the flashing lights in that like, oh my god,
God.
dude, I was like tripping balls like watching that. I was
It's a
like, what
great
is
movie.
happening?
It's a great movie.
It's a great. It's actually is very good at bringing the original anime into live action. I think.
Sogomoto.
Yeah, so
Yep.
that might be a future Friday night feature. I might try and subject Melee to it.
I don't know what, if it was because of the aging demographic, like the boomers were getting to the nostalgia thing, like the way we're getting like the 80s stuff now. But I really liked in the 2000s when they took all of the 1960s animated sitcoms and started, or standard sitcoms basically, and started making movies out of them, because I really loved the Addams Family. When they did those movies.
Oh yeah.
I think that was kind of in the same vein. Like they did the Flintstones, they did
Well, the thing is, in the '60s, there was this whole like trend of taking '60s sitcoms and making a movie out of them. Like for example, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hillbillies, The Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
It's a whole genre of movies.
Yeah, and they were good. Like they were like they they weren't like cinematic masterpieces like what Bailey was saying earlier. They were the greatest film, but it was really funny to see like modern sensibilities inflicted on like good old wholesome 1960s sitcoms.
Yeah,
and
the Brady's. See, oh my God, yes.
The thing with it too, and the reason why I say it's not a masterpiece is because I'm like naturally comparing it to Scooby-Doo, because I'm thinking of like, cartoon to live action adaptation. And I personally love the Scooby-Doo live action films. I think that is like one of the best adaptations you could possibly have. And they're both Hanna-Barbera. So my brain just all naturally compares, right? So that's why I don't think Flintstones holds up to that.
I think my biggest complaint about the Scooby-Doo live action movies is that it kind of felt like they were out of order. Like the second movie should have come first, and then you have the big breakup in the second movie. So there's for people who don't know Scooby-Doo very well, the breakup would have a bit more weight.
This is for you guys. This is for you
guys. Oh, Scooby Snacks!
Boy, those sure do look like Scooby Snacks.
Dude, he freaking nailed this role.
He did.
Vegetarian, and I love him.
Like me too.
Far out! I have never met another person who loves Scooby Snacks.
Me neither.
I'm Mary Jane.
Like that is my favorite name.
God! Oh my God! That's so good.
Best. He's so good.
Oh my God!
It's kind of funny though that they use that as a chance to bring up that Shaggy was actually briefly vegetarian in the show, in the series, because of Casey Kasem.
And how silly was that though? Like they had to make the character vegetarian because the voice actor was too. Like, come on.
Well, to be fair,
beta.
When Casey Kane, Casey Kane is like the Ryan Seacrest of his time. Okay,
number one.
I think that falls flat on most people nowadays. Ryan Seacrest is just like what, American Idol? Like who cares?
20-something years ago, yeah.
I didn't even know.
No, Casey Kane was like a huge radio DJ. He was like a big deal. So someone like him saying that, it's got Yeah,
but you're playing a role. It's fantasy, bro. Like you can't deal with like a character.
Well, when you're famous enough
with a meat
to
in
dictate
it,
terms, he's famous enough to dictate terms.
Yeah, it still makes him a beta bitch.
That makes him that makes him big enough to throw his weight around. It doesn't make him big.
My only gripe with the Scooby-Doo movies, okay, and this is totally gonna sound so stupid, okay. My only gripe with the casting of Linda Cardellini as Velma, because she was hotter than Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Ooh, that's interesting. You know what? I kind of understand what you're saying.
She's supposed to be the nerd, and
Michelle Gellar justice in those movies.
No,
see, Sarah Michelle Gellar was just literally playing Buffy. So if you were a Buffy fan, you were just seeing Buffy, and I was like kind of okay with it. But
she took that role to get away from Buffy, and it
literally typecasted her.
There was like a fight scene. I'm like, this is literally just a Buffy fight that I'm seeing. I feel like I'm seeing extra lost footage of the show.
But like Velma's supposed to be like the nerd. And they had that. Remember when the monster possessed her or whatever, and she's in the bikini? And I'm like, dude, that chick right there is a dime. That's not Velma. Velma's supposed to be. I lost my glasses.
Let's just say a lot of boys hit puberty the first time they saw that movie.
The scene where they're like getting possessed by the ghost or whatever, and then I feel like there was a lot of tossing around. I heard one of them was supposed to be R-rated, and they had to like tone it down or something.
Oh wow!
I do believe
that the first one. I think
I do believe. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, next.
Supposed to be like a spoof or a parody kind of movie. Sort of in the same vein as the Brady Bunch movie, where they like leaned more into like sex jokes and weed jokes and blah 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 blah.
I love I love in the Brady Bunch movie where they imply like that they do the whole like sleeping with your sister thing. Like I'm sorry, the Brady Bunch movies are so freaking meta because they take like all of like the stuff that like going on behind the scenes and they bring it into the movie. Like if you know all the behind the scenes details of that show,
Barry Williams and Maureen McCormick really did. Yeah, and didn't Barry Williams also go on a date with Florence Henderson at one point?
I can't remember, but like,
dude, he was a Casanova on that show. Holy shit!
Also, in the sequel, I love how they subtly imply that there's like a 60s to 70s TV cinematic universe where like how Florence Henderson's ex-wife was Gilligan or the professor.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Oh man.
But anyway, Flintstones. Yeah, I do love a lot of the storytelling going on in this movie. It's a very like domestic conflict movie. And even viewing it through a modern lens, it's actually surprisingly refreshing.
Well, I brought up this too because, you know, maybe to modern standards, it feels like this is such an inconsequential movie, but things like, you know, a lifelong couple having a, you know, strife enough that they are separated for a little bit. They don't break up, but they're like away from each other, and all like your best friend and you are like not getting along because your career changed. And so now like you're kind of looking down on him. Like all of these things, your friend losing their house, these were big deals in smaller communities back in the day, and we've kind of lost this. We've had this disconnect now where it just doesn't feel as intense. But
or like
these were big things that used to happen to people, and this was what they worried about.
I mean, look at it like a family context. It's like that one sibling who does better than everyone else, and they start to like act like they're better than you a little bit, like they don't mean to. Or like, you know, it's like you move in with them and it's like the whole friendship dynamic changes because now you're living with them. There's plenty of people who they make great friends but terrible roommates. Like they could be the best friends. They'll take a bullet for each other. But if you make them live in the same house, they'll kill each
other.
Yeah. No, I compared it to like, this is totally like a weird comparison, but serial killers almost, right? Like serial killers aren't gone. It's just that the population is so much bigger and it's more likely that your neighbor is crazy or whatever it might be, right? That like, it's not as deep of a deal, but like serial killers going through small communities when like it was way back, that was a huge deal. So I look at it similar. It's like all of the problems in this movie might feel like nothing compared to nowadays, but for that time, for that universe, it completely fit. And I thought that's what they did really well, is they didn't try to go beyond the means of that. They still pushed it a little bit. So it was still like, whoa, like there's, you know, there was enough problems in it that you didn't feel like, oh, this is just boring. I'm just watching another episode.
The thing
I felt
with
like
me
it was
is
really something.
The thing with me is the problem is literally timeless. Like these kind of situations still happen today. And it can't like I moved in with my sister for a little while, and it caused conflicts. I had another relative that got a little more, that started to earn more, and they started to change. So like I really related to this movie. I drew parallels to my family experiences and all that stuff, and like Fred Flintstone was not a bad person. Like I'm really glad they had the opening where he gave the money to Fred, which was a selfless act. It was indeed a selfless act. And I'm really glad they had that up at the opening of the movie to show that he was not a bad person. He may have layers of conceit. He may, you know, but this film also, it doesn't really address it full on, but it does kind of touch upon it. The expectations of a man, of being the provider, you know, like the conflict he has with his mother-in-law, you know, like Fred just wants to be the man of the house. It's not like, it's like he wants to give his family a good life. He wants to be respected, which is like what a lot. Yeah, and sorry, go ahead, Nix.
I was gonna say I didn't watch the Flintstones a whole lot as a kid because it was kind of before my time. But when I did catch it,
it was before my time too. But I saw
when I did catch it. My God, the episodes with Wilma's mother would piss me off.
The show is worth watching. I was watching one of the episodes recently, and there was a murder mystery, and it's about like the neighbor is like, it seems like maybe he like did something to his wife, and so Fred's trying to investigate, and he's getting like newspapers sent to his house that are like murder mysteries, and that episode is super cool. It's really cool. Like the Flintstones can get very creative, so I think it is worth it, even if most of it seems like whatever.
Want to see something wild? So back when it first came out, they had to have sponsors.
Oh boy, the cigarettes.
Oh, this is an oldie.
They sure work hard. Let's go around now. Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred.
Like, you would never see this today.
Oh God, no.
But
it's illegal to do commercials for cigarettes.
Well, also the other thing is, the Flintstone was a sitcom. It was not. It was never made for kids.
Nope.
This was the first television sitcom. It was the Simpsons of their time. Without the Flintstones, there would be no Simpsons.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like Flintstones more than the Simpsons.
I mean, to be
I like
fair,
Flintstones more than the new Simpsons. Like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, Simpsons was freaking top notch, but it died real quick.
The thing about the Flintstones is, if you watch the later seasons, they go really off the rails in the later seasons.
Man, yeah, there's some double innuendo jokes in there, like the wealthy people of Springfield will be taking showers this night, golden showers, and here.
I will say, one of the things I've always admired about the Flintstones is that they never go too far with making Fred look like a bad person, because he's not. At his heart, he's a good person who just wants to do right and get his due.
Sorry, the joke. Imagine Flintstones made for modern audiences.
No, we don't need that. We're good.
Like, it's really nice to see. I don't know, something about older sitcoms. They always kind of infer like the dad doesn't really like the rest of his family too much. That can get kind of spirited, but with the Flintstones, yeah, you can tell Fred loves Wilma. She drives him crazy sometimes. You're with someone long enough, they're bound to drive you crazy. He can be kind of mean to Barney, but it's all in good fun.
It's kind of the eye roll dynamic that's like used to be more normalized, where you could kind of poke fun and be like, yeah, I got to deal with my baggage, but whatever, and have a beer. But then when you're alone together at home, you're still loving to that person. It's just the kind of facade. And nowadays, everyone's kind of too sensitive to that. So you can't really do that story writing anymore without people coming across negative. So it's interesting if Flintstones does it.
I think a lot of it is we've had like 20 to 30 years of, oh, I hate my wife. Oh, my, all those kind of like jokes we've had. I think that's really soured. Boomer jokes, yeah.
Is it? I don't know. I find it funny. I'm like, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Like, people think Married with Children is real life.
Married with Children is fantastic. I love that show.
I was going to say, that's a functional family by today's standards. Holy crap.
Oh, God.
That's such a good show.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that show. Like, that show started in 1989. Just think about that.
God. I heard that on like the recent release, they did like a re-release or something. It doesn't have Sinatra's Love and Marriage as the theme anymore.
Oh!
That's the show, in my opinion.
That's like re-releasing Neon Genesis Evangelion and not having Fly Me to the Moon as the outro.
Yeah.
Dave, that's funny. That's a funny joke. See?
Love and marriage, love and...
Like, bottom
it's
of the lake.
It's a shock comedy. Like, who cares?
And like, the best part is, like, the wife is a 90s feminist. And yeah, they butt heads, but they kind of get along in some aspects, too.
Who, Peggy? She's just a freeloader. Ow! Like... God, Katie Seagal knocked that role out of the park too.
To be fair, the entire family are freeloaders, but still.
Yeah, but that's what I love about it is they all grumble and they're all commiserating or whatever. But the moment an outside force messes with a Bundy, they form Voltron and kick ass, and I love that about the Bundys.
Also, Christina Applegate was freaking hot in that show.
Oh my god, yeah, it was so heartbreaking seeing her sign her Hollywood. And again, Katie Seagal, man, she's freaking amazing. She was there to help Christina Applegate basically do at the ceremony to get her. Yeah, Marcy's the feminist, the chicken. But yeah,
well,
apparently
the problem with Christina Applegate is she had breast cancer, and she found out she had the cancer gene. So she made the very brave decision to get a double hysterectomy.
Or mastectomy, yeah, and
sorry,
yeah, hysterectomy is when they remove the but it just no. She also has I think she might have like an autoimmune disease like lupus or something, because that poor girl was not doing well, and Katie Seagal had to help her out. Katie Seagal is like what 20 years her senior or whatever, and she looked so much better off. And I'm like, girl, do whatever you need to. Like
Katie Seagal still looks good, by the way.
Yes, she does. Did you ever see her in Sons of Anarchy?
Oh God, I've seen pictures.
Yeah,
so Melee.
Badass.
I guess you need to sunset.
I do need to sunset. Yes, I tried to stay as long as I could, but my other show starts very shortly, so I do need to.
Well, we appreciate your contribution, and we will have you on for another movie for you to tear apart and disappoint and ruin my entire childhood.
I'm gonna get another message soon, aren't I? Now you get to watch this movie. Like, all right.
honestly, like I'm not gonna do Speed Racer next month, but at some point I might do that movie. I'm gonna have to bring you in.
So bad, man.
It is not bad.
Oh my
that
god!
Clip you showed me
it'll cause epilepsy. It'll cause epilepsy.
That's fine. I'll take the epilepsy if it's a good story.
it's actually pretty good.
I'm fine with that.
I liked Home Improvement. I'm just gonna say that I like Tim Allen.
I love Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Home Improvement.
Can I just say, I love how the only thing that they can bring up about Tim Allen is that he got arrested for cocaine in the 70s. That is the only thing they can bring up on him.
Everyone did cocaine in the 70s.
Yes.
Also, if you see his mugshot, that guy's got an amazing mustache. Like, I'm sorry.
He definitely has stash levels on 11.
All right, I'm gonna sneak out. Thank you again, guys, and don't make me watch anything too crazy next month. Just saying. Okay, bye.
Jeez.
All right, let's figure out something that's really crazy for her to watch.
Is there any movies that's all about like feet and like dirty feet, like walking on like a bathroom floor or something?
We could make her watch a Dan Snyder. We could make her watch a Dan Snyder show.
There's got to be like a Double Dare episode or whatever, where like a big fat guy's sweaty feet are mashed into green slime.
I'm just gonna say it now. I never liked any of his shows, and I don't understand what all the hype was about. Because okay, Spencer was great. Spencer was like the only good character. He was the only one I liked. Everyone else was just awful and horrible to each other. And it's supposed to be like, oh, they're good friends. They're just ripping on each other. I'm like, no. Sam is literally bullying Freddie, and they just go. Carly goes with it because it's not me being bullied. At least
I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if it's because like it was after my time, but like I tried to watch a lot of those like Disney Nickelodeon shows like Hannah Montana, iCarly, and I just could not get the appeal.
Yeah, it was like a different country. I watched The Wizards of Waverly Place because my freaking nephew watched it. And I'm like, I hear a laugh track and I hear people talking, but I don't know where the comedy is.
Yeah. Like at least Big Bang Theory made me laugh sometimes. Like there's some humorous moments.
There were some good jokes in Big Bang Theory, but then they go and they take their crapping on nerds way too far. And anytime they don't even show any female nerds. There are no good, like, there was one, and Leonard almost cheated on his then girlfriend with her, and then she was pissy that he was going to do that, and it's like, but he didn't, and he apologized for leading you on, kind of, sort of, like, he's a terrible person, he was terrible about it.
See, I hate those sitcoms where everyone is just, like, the worst.
Like Seinfeld.
And they're all terrible to each other, and I'm sitting here like, why are you people friends with each other? Like between the constant gay jokes.
I will say, This was a funny moment. This was fun.
Hello, Leonard.
What are you doing?
We're playing doctor. Star Trek style.
I'm in hell, Leonard. Don't stop.
Like, they had great comedic timing. Like I'm sorry, my Embolic, she is such an underrated comedic actress. Like, her comedic
She
timing
really
is. And
she was awesome in Blossom.
Oh yeah, and there's a reason why Sheldon Cooper became the most popular character, because like, that actor has has great comedic timing, and they played off each other so well. Their comedic timing was so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think Dave the Impaler says it right. They felt plasticky and empty.
Boy Meets World. Oh my god, that was an amazing show.
Sequel series Girl Meets World it was okay for a little while, and then it just became terrible.
Aww.
I didn't even explain how, but they really managed to mess up a lot of the characters, even from like the previous show. And they get so many of their lessons so wrong. Like, Boy Meets World was clever and it taught you things about the real world. Girl Meets World is like, no, everyone else is wrong. You're in the right. Blah 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 blah.
As a kid who actually watched the TGIF block in the 90s, which that was a great block, by the way, throughout the 90s.
Yes.
Sabrina, Step by Step, a lot of those
Family
shows.
Matters.
Family Matters. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Also, I love how, like, isn't it crazy how, like, there was kind of like that one season where everyone decided to go to Disney?
Yeah. Well, ABC, that was when they got merged or whatever. So every ABC sitcom went to Disney. Even Roseanne.
Yeah. Oh god, Perfect Strangers. I watched that. Like, I was really young. I barely remember that.
Don't be ridiculous. Well, that was actually Family Matters was the spinoff of Perfect Strangers.
Really?
Yeah, Carl Winslow. Harriet was the elevator operator of the office building that Balky and Larry worked at, and Carl Winslow would occasionally come in when he was in between shifts as a cop. And then they're like, well, we can make a show out of that. And then before Urkel came on, they had the show and it wasn't doing well. Urkel came in and bam, it became the Steve Urkel show.
I only watched the first season of Fuller House. It was kind of okay, but they were trying really too hard with the nostalgia bait. Like, they were really leaning too hard in nostalgia for that show.
Also, am I the only one that noticed that those ladies glowed up? Like, they were attractive when they were younger, but this is the first time.
Oh god, Jodie Sweetin. Jodie Sweetin.
Gorgeous. Holy crap.
I know the other lady, she does a lot of Hallmark shit. A lot of Hallmark.
Yeah.
Hallmark. By the way,
Diary.
I'm officially calling it Hallmark hell. When actors, their career, they get sentenced to Hallmark hell.
Yeah.
Even Kimmy Gibbler, I'm like, girl, what you doing?
Like, I actually believed she could have pull a guy like that. Like, it's actually believable.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know how, but like, you aged like wine. Good for you. Like, yeah,
especially knowing that Jodie Sweetin had like a lot of drug problems.
Yeah, poor girl.
Yeah. The middle daughter. The fact that she had all those drug problems and she's still the hottest one of them all. Like, I wish she hadn't done the drugs. Imagine how much hotter she would have been.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god.
No. No.
There you go. There's your melee hatred. Like, if you want to punish her, you give her like Hallmark.
I had to spend a few Christmases where I went to when I was living out of town, and I spent Christmas with my grandma, and we watched nothing but Hallmark movies. I do not wish that on my worst enemy.
I'm in hell.
Nix, would you like to marathon some Hallmark movies?
No.
Oh god, we lost her. She's gone. But yeah, Sabrina was good. Paul Feig is in that movie, like on that show. Like, it's really crazy how, like, you see it, like, you go back to like the 90s or 2000s. Well, okay, yeah, that is true. You see actors that went on to become famous. Like for example, you're watching Step by Step, and So you know that blonde girl that came on in the later seasons?
Mm-hmm.
That's Ashley Johnson. She wanted to play
Whoa.
Ellie in The Last of Us.
Oh shit!
You didn't know that?
Wasn't she in Growing Pains? She was the baby.
Growing Pains. Yeah.
I thought in Growing Pains, Ashley Johnson was the baby. They aged her up.
Also, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna play this, but I'm gonna mute it because I know I'm gonna copyright struck because it's the intro. All right. God, these intros are just.
Show me that smile again.
No.
Minute of your crime.
This is a huge cast. I'm just gonna say it. This is a really huge cast, and also, yeah,
There she is.
and you can totally tell it's her too. Oh God, yeah, that's Ellie from Last of Us, guys. That is crazy.
God.
It's crazy.
God, we were spoiled by great sitcoms back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, the Camerons. Yeah, and then Kirk Cameron got all religious and whatnot.
Yeah, he really ruined it, man. I guess he ruined the career of his supposed playmate, on-screen girlfriend or whatever. They flipped out. She just retconned. They just pulled her off.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
Also, Nick's. Also, yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio was this was kind of his first big one.
Wow.
Yeah, James David Frank, the Green Ranger, is on Family Matters. Did you know that? Also, Nick, I guess you have to go, so thank you.
Yep, sorry.
Aw.
Bye-bye.
Well, have a good one.
You
See you
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
And then there were two.
Yes.
Man.
I'm just all right, there we go. Original Buffy, you mean Chrissy Swanson?
Oh God.
So yeah, right there.
Oh shit. Yeah. Freaking Jaleel White, man. That dude, the 90s was his, man. He was the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, there's James David Frank with a goatee.
Wow. Tommy, what are you doing?
Also, do you remember the show Space Cases?
I heard of it. It sounds familiar, but I don't I don't think I ever watched
Okay. So Space Cases has two actors that you might recognize.
Oh, the Black Ranger.
And
looks like the chick from Lazy Town.
No.
Yeah,
yep, well,
Walter Emmanuel Jones. And that is not the chick. Oh, that's
from
Jules
Firefly.
Staples.
Yeah,
holy crap.
Firefly.
Holy crap! I didn't recognize her with the Lazy Town hair.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds was on Sabrina. Oh, do you know Matthew McConaughey's first role?
All right. Wasn't it? It wasn't Dazed and Confused. Oh, he was an extra. He was a bit.
No, he had a role. He had a role in Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh my God!
My son Larry, he was home for a few days, and he
so
was cutting our lawn for us.
Okay, so a big reason for even then he knew what he had. So
yeah, is this a Coke commercial? Like what the hell?
So the reason this happened is the way the Unsolved Mysteries work, they shoot on location, and so they often cast the locals. That's why the acting was so bad. And so, oh God, Rob Stack.
Yeah, Robert Stack was awesome.
And so Matthew McConaughey got cast as a local, and so he then used that, and then he moved to LA afterwards.
Wow.
Shot it in the air. He's shooting Larry.
It's not a cap gun. I see blood. He's shooting.
Guys, it's not a cap gun, guys. It's not a cap gun.
I see blood. He shot Jerry.
Larry!
Oh, Larry.
Go,
No.
go. The police. Go.
I think they actually canned Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, and they released it later because it had not just Matthew McConaughey, but also the Bridget Jones Diary girl in it.
Oh.
And they realized it's like how Red Dawn actually was gonna get canned. But they realized, holy crap, Chris Hemsworth is in this movie. Let's release it. Because Chris Hemsworth pre-Thor career, because like he did Cabin in the Woods before.
I love Cabin in the Woods.
Oh god, yes. Also, I love it how the Yellow Ranger from Jungle Fury is in it, and she makes out with a wolf.
Yeah. Oh damn, that chick was hot too. Holy crap.
Oh god, yes. And in the movie, you can see her teeters.
Yay, boobies! Man.
What I love is the subverting the expectations, because like, she's supposed to be the blonde bimbo, but she's actually like an honor roll student or something.
Everybody. Yeah, well, everybody was forced into these weird caricatured like archetypes, and they were anything but that in real life. So they had to get like drug infused.
Also,
and, like,
I'm sorry, I'm just full screening this because this still is just so great. It's just so, and also like look at the woman's face, like
it's like he let out a really bad fart. He's like,
no, ice. It was a wet fart.
Yeah, that was
was
hard.
Take care, sir. When he realized it wasn't a fart.
Yeah, he gambled on a fart and lost.
I should have gone to the bathroom. I thought it was a fart.
I shouldn't have taken Salt and Pepper's advice. I shouldn't have pushed it.
Why did I get to go chasing waterfalls? Now I'm 5 miles from the nearest toilet. I should have listened to the rivers. Oh god. Oh, I should have listened to Adele and just go rolling in the deep. Oh, sorry, it's just improv hour right now. Oh god, but I love like some of like these early roles for some of these actors. So wild. You see in some of them, especially the ones who like later on in their life they try to act all classy, but early on.
Like remember George Clooney when he debuted on The Facts of Life as I think it was like Blair's girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever.
God. Yeah. And like I think they wanted to cast him in like a major role in the 80s, but he wouldn't like get rid of his mullet.
Oh god. That mullet stays.
Oh yeah. Also, I think you might have seen this.
Pitfall commercial. Yeah, he's so young. I love this.
Just last night, I was lost in the jungle with Pitfall Harry, surrounded by giant scorpions.
Or even better, I got one for you. Okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't. A bit more humane.
Hey. Also, Ryan Reynolds is in Goosebumps as well.
Wow.
That's not my fault. You could try to show a little more enthusiasm.
Yeah. Well, it's because Goosebumps was shot in Canada, so like a lot of the Canadian actors got their first start and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think what is it? Ryan Gosling and God, what's the guy that played the Spider-Man? The old Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire. I think they were like living together.
Look!
Maybe you only thought you did.
That's Ryan Gosling, but still.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Canada, where the drinking age is 19. Oh, Canada, your girls are merely meanie.
Well, have you ever seen the Atari Lynx commercial with Tobey Maguire where he's taking a dump?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, God, I had to pull that up now.
Somebody added in fart sounds. It's absolutely, it's like, awesome. Like,
oh, God. Okay, we have to play that.
Hey, Mr. Block, can I go to the bathroom?
2 minutes.
Yeah, that was another Canadian production. Oh, God. Oh, God. Just. He still has a stink face.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another Canadian production. You see a lot of actors in that one. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Ryan Gosling as young Hercules. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was like one of his first big roles too.
Yep.
I miss those shows like Hercules and
The
Xena.
action pack. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
nothing's fun anymore.
Like they were cheesy, but they were good, you know?
Yeah, they were cheesy fun and like they didn't take themselves too seriously. Like hell, they had a Christmas episode like on Xena. Like
in ancient Greece, celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, Sinterklaas.
Yeah, the thing is, like, as a kid growing up in the 90s, it's like after the Saturday morning cartoons went away, about the 1 o'clock mark, you'd see like a lot of these syndicated shows.
Yep.
Like Cleopatra 2025.
Yes, I love that.
Torres. Oh God, yes, that's actually where I first saw her.
Yep.
Jack of all trades. Oh, do you remember? Do you remember the Queen of Swords?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to. Here we go. Have you seen Mexican Weather Girls?
Oh my God, yeah, dude. There used to be this. Oh God, the actress's name was Talia, and she was in like all of these telenovelas, and my Spanish teacher was like, "How do you know these?" I'm like, "Dude, I've been watching these for years." That
okay.
Chick is so...
Now we're gonna get the viewers. I love the porn music they're playing.
Yeah.
Like just look at that. Like
yeah, that
they
is
knew what they're doing. Huh.
So I gotta look that up.
We're totally watching this for the plot, guys. I swear.
Oh yeah, both plots, the left one and the right one.
Oh God!
And that one in the back.
That's a girl I wouldn't mind watching leave.
I would buy her a modestly priced meal.
God. A modestly priced meal. Your Asian is you're Jewish and you're Asian. Oh God. Okay.
Hey, that looks like what's her face? Ariana Grande.
Oh God.
How you doing?
Just the colors, like the 90s. Like
no, these why were 90s women so much hotter? Like what happened?
Saturated fat.
Like yeah, they're all thin and everything, but like I don't know what it is. It's just the style.
Ooh.
Like they just look hot, man.
See, the thing is, I'm not much for 80s girls because like 80s girls kind of have like an excess.
Yeah.
Oh no, that wasn't Russian. You're thinking of the Naked News.
Yeah, the girl's like pulling off her clothes while she's getting
And I love how if you actually watch it, they're actually reading the news. They're actually legit reading the news as they're stripping.
Yep,
we're not going to play that because I have some standards. And by the way, they're the YouTube content standards. Mexico though. By the way, can I just say I picked the perfect frame?
Yeah, look at the silhouette on that woman. God love her. Holy crap.
Yeah. You know every day after she did the news, she headed straight to the gym.
Yeah, I mean that is somebody that takes care of their body. That's not just what mama gave you.
I mean, part of it is genetics.
Well, yeah, she worked with what she got, but she still worked. Good God.
Oh God, I love how as soon as Nick's left, we're all just like, okay,
Yeah, we're all horn dogs now. we got to get a visit to horny jail.
Yeah, bonk.
Yeah, did you ever see Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie Perfect or whatever? I was like, oh my God, I'm like 8 years old and going through puberty.
God. Oh, jeez.
Man.
Like, that's gotta be funny. It's like when the guys first realize a girl is hot.
Yeah.
I've got a park bench at two. No.
Radiator with a handcuff. Scream all you want. No one can hear you down here.
I do not endorse this. I play Shake What Your Mama Gave Me. Please don't play that. I don't want to get copyright struck.
Yeah. Oh, we're seeing the interpretive dance version right there. Yeah.
Oh God. But yeah, I'm trying to remember some of my early crushes, like Kristen Crook on Smallville.
Oh God. Yeah.
Also, you remember that episode where she just did like the striptease?
I think a Kleenex box knew about that one.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh yeah, Erica Dura's doing the thing. Also, I love that they had like Alan Richardson has had a career. I'm just gonna stop this, but like,
yeah, he's always been a big dude.
Yeah, and honestly, Reacher, I like that is
he was
his
born
role.
for that. Yep.
And honestly, that role kind of sold me. He could play Batman.
Yeah. He freaking rocked Reacher. And it's funny too, because I read one of the Jack Reacher books, and God, it's been years now, but I read it after the Tom Cruise movie came out, and I was like, what the hell is this? Tom Cruise is like 5'2". Like Jack Reacher is like a monster. He's like 6'5", 6'6", or whatever, or 6'8", like some, he's like physically intimidating. And it didn't make any sense when I was watching the movie. I'm like, why is this guy so like scared, like fear, like? And then when they actually made the series there with that dude, I was like, oh, okay. They cast the applicable actor, and it makes a lot more sense now.
Also, can I just say, Reacher is like the perfect example of you want a strong female character and have the men love her. Roscoe. Like, I don't care if I get a copyright strike. I have to play this scene.
Sir, if you step over here, I can process you. I'm not asking, sir. I'm telling. But don't worry, I won't kick your ass unless you make me.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, under lesser writers, that would have been a mug girl power. But it's more just like, oh my God, this woman's charming. Have my babies.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both know that there isn't anything she can do to him.
and like, that's why he comes over, because he's like, I like this woman.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's like, you can't beat me, but the fact that she says it with a straight face, he respects the thing.
Yeah, a dude has a shotgun and he's all nervous around him. Like, I don't think I could take him with a shotgun.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I love the trope of like the big, strong, badass guy, and the only thing he fears is his mother. I don't know. Like, I love that trope.
Well, because it's about respect, and we don't really have stuff like that anymore. So when I see it, it's really nice. Where it's like he could do whatever he wanted to anybody, but he respects his mother or he respects his wife or whatever. So he's going to, he's going to play nice, and
that's why I love like if you play GTA 5, kind of like the post credits mission when Trevor meets his mother, and he's actually genuinely terrified of her. I love it. I love it.
Nice.
But yeah, like I want more characters like Roscoe. Like, I'm sorry, like I watched season 1 of Reacher, it was great. Season 2 of Reacher just does not interest me. I'm sorry. There was kind of a magic in that first season. Like, the characters played off each other so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Just like kind of like the good old boys kind of stuff. There's a modern Western kind of a genre that I don't really feel like has been like truly codified, but it is a thing. You know, like stuff like, all right, thanks, Dave. We'll
Have a good
probably
one,
be
man.
we'll be wrapping up here in about 10 minutes or so. I'm trying to go for at least 2 hours. Like the modern Western is a thing. Stuff like Yellowstone. Okay, I gotta say this. I like Yellowstone, but I cannot watch it because of Beth. Oh my god, that woman pisses me off. Have you tried to watch Beth Dunn from Yellowstone?
No, I've heard a lot about it. I haven't actually seen it though. Is that the one with Sylvester Stallone?
No, that's Kevin Costner.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You might be thinking of like that gangster show he's in. Beth is like the most toxic. Like you will not be able to watch that show because she is like the most toxic person ever.
Oh God, is it kind of like in Breaking Bad, dude's wife?
Worse.
Oh,
and by a factor of 5.
Oh, damn. Yeah,
like
Anna Gunn is a great actress and she's gorgeous as hell. But that character she played, I wanted her. I was rooting for her to draw. You know,
like say what you will about Skylar, you like it's the same thing with their actress who plays Cersei. Like they were good enough actors to make you hate them. You can hate the actor.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah.
You can hate the God. Because like this is good. This scene is gonna get copyright struck up the wazoo, but sorry, I just clicked on that. I kind of don't care at this point. Yeah. God. All right, I'm just doing it this way. Maybe this will trip the people. You're gonna hate the character by the end of this.
Of course he did. God damn it. People, I came here to do business with you.
I can hear you screaming out right now in the hall, Craig.
We're gonna get copyright struck. I don't care. I'll just edit this out later.
Well, we're gonna try and work this out, Bob. We've been trying to work this out for 3 hours, Craig.
Wants to merge with you. You have a 3-to-1 debt ratio. It'll be easier to sell VCRs.
I'm not gonna be bullied by your hatchet man, Bob. We will pull our funds and we will take our business. I'm asking you to suspend the dividend.
Dump our 18%.
Who is that actor? That guy looks really familiar.
The stock will drop below 10. SEC will suspend trading, and every
This is just so girl bossy.
Your company will be Chapter 11.
And this isn't even the worst of her.
Since we're your largest creditors, I can promise you there'll be no negotiating then. I will be CEO of IL Energy by Monday. I will fire every fucking employee. Then I will sell you leases and equipment to Chevron by 30 cents on the dollar. And you, buddy, you will have the unique distinction of being the only drilling company to go bankrupt in the largest oil boom.
I mean, that's not even the worst of her. I mean, that's girl bossy.
Yeah.
But she's really bad with her adopted brother, Jamie.
I'm gonna get you disbarred, you spineless piece of shit.
There we go.
You should never come home.
That's the moment I dropped the show. This literally is the scene that caused me to drop the show.
You told me to come home.
Why on earth would you ever listen to me?
Wow.
And now you know what I mean, right?
This is kind of like that fight scene in Uncharted 4 where you can't defeat the black girl boss.
What?
Have you ever? Yeah, in Uncharted 4, there's God. Hold on. What the hell's her name?
That kind of reminds me of like in Last of Us 2.
Nadine.
Originally, the testers actually let Ellie kill Abby, and so they actually had to take that option out.
Yeah, well, so in Uncharted 4, there's this black girl boss, Nadine. I'm the strongest ever. It's the most annoying, bitchy character I've ever seen. And you get into a fight with her as Nathan, And then also Nathan's brother is helping, like the two of you are fighting this black chick by yourself.
Wait, so two grown men
Yes.
versus a adult black woman, or just women in general.
And they like the whole building is falling apart, and she's like knocking them through walls and like all this shit, and you can't win the fight. And it is the most infuriating. Like I don't have any like domination kinks. Okay, this is just obnoxious.
What sucks is the Uncharted series actually has really good women in it. Like like even Chloe. Chloe really
Fraser was awesome.
Like if you want to talk about like strong female character, I say Chloe. I love her character.
The problem is that somewhere after Uncharted 3, they
fired Amy Hennig. That's why.
Amy Hennig left Naughty Dog, and
she got forced out by Neil. She got forced out by Neil Cuckman. By the way,
Cuckman,
I'm not going to call him by his actual name. He's Neil Cuckman.
Yeah, his like every series that he's touched now is garbage. I'm sorry.
You notice how Naughty Dog has been incapable of making another game? Like they've remade the same game 3 times.
Yeah, like 3 times. Yeah, like, and I like. Here's the thing: it's like I have no problems with female protagonists. Hell, I'm writing a comic book with a female protagonist in it. That's not the issue.
Yeah, I think one of the problems is I think the commonality is when we talk about all our favorite like strong female characters is a strong female character is not afraid to use her sexuality in situations.
Or her mother, like when Ellen Ripley saved Newt, it was a mother instinct. She went back and willingly put herself in danger because at the beginning of the movie, she learned that she outlived her own daughter. And she's like, I'm not going to fail this other girl. So it was her maternal instincts. And it's guys don't have that. Guys have hero instincts, but that was a instinct. That was a mother fighting against a mother. And I loved it.
Yeah. I really do think part of James Cameron died when he got divorced. I honestly think, you know, because if you look at like the movies pre-divorce and after divorce, like he was always a toxic director. He always was. Apparently he's gotten better. I mean, True Lies was basically a fuck you to Catherine Bigelow, by the way.
Oh damn.
But the thing is, like, have you seen the trailer for The Ballerina?
I haven't seen. I've seen bits of it. I haven't sat through the whole thing yet. But
what I like about it is there's a portion in the movie where it's like, as a woman, you'll be at disadvantage. So do everything you can. Break the rules. Cheat. So the way they're training these women is, yes, you're going to be at disadvantage. Use everything you have. So like you see a woman, she's going up against a guy. She does a few moves. She kicks him in the balls. And then she does like the Black Widow move. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about. And you notice how, like, and this is the thing. You notice how no one is calling the ballerina woke, or like it's a woke interpretation.
No,
because John Wick is still there. John Wick is making a cameo. You know, he's in the movie. Like you literally see him. And this is a spin-off. It's in the world. She's not replacing John Wick. She is just a character in the universe. And I love Ama de Armas. And also, like, the John Wick universe still had really great females. And the thing I love about, like, the directors is whenever they have the women fight, you notice how the women in the John Wick universe, they primarily use guns. Because, you know, guns are the equalizer.
Yep. Yeah. Did you ever see... God, what there was that comedian slash I think he's like a right winger. God, he has the Mug Club. He's a Canadian guy. You know the guy that does the change my mind things.
Steven Crowder.
Yeah, Crowder. Sorry, I don't know why I spaced that, but like Crowder did a fight scene for scene remake of a lot of female fighting action scenes. And he had his another guy that was a little small because Crowder's actually a pretty buff dude, and he was like had his little like his minion or whatever fight him and hit him with the shoe and do all this stuff, and it was like it didn't even hurt, like it didn't even scratch him. Yet in the movie, like chick hits a guy with a stiletto and he goes flying 8 feet and stuff. And it's like,
Like,
no, this
I'm
is
sorry.
well done to, yeah.
Unless that stiletto actually is like pointed tip and like reinforced.
Yep.
It's more likely to break off on impact.
Yep. But like, that's why, what is it? God made man, Sam Colt made him equal. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like, I'm sorry, but all the girl power shit is really dangerous.
Why do you think they say poison is a woman's weapon?
Yeah, it's in indirectness is the woman's strategy. Like, there's a reason why.
And you know what?
Like
it's effective. Yeah, you even see it to this day. Women, like, it's really hard to get a woman to get a direct answer, and that's as sexist I'm going to go this stream.
But it's like play with what you got. Like you like, you're not a man, and men are not women, so you're gonna have to look at what you have for skills and use them.
I'm sorry, Peter Venkman. I'm sorry if that upset you.
But it's the strongest guy in the world versus the strongest woman in the world. You know, the strongest guy will beat the strongest woman.
Venkman, you want to come on here and talk? You're welcome to come on here and say your piece if you want.
It's all like misogyny.
No, I'm feeling bad now.
I'm not gonna sound like an ass. It's just I'm so tired.
But the thing is, like, you see a lot of this stuff where even a woman, you know, like using her charms, and like a guy can respect that. Like, they know, like, okay, this is how women fight battles, and we respect that to a degree, you know.
Like
when we see a badass woman, you know, like poison a man or like assassin a target or whatever, like, we respect that.
Well, there's a reason why Cersei Lannister was such a great character in Game of Thrones, because she knew how to play. She knew how to play the female.
Okay, we're good. I was kind of panicking there for a moment.
Yeah, it's not my goal to piss off anybody in the chat. So
yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I love when there's movies where there is a fight scene and it's like she's like a third of the big henchman guy's size, and instead of her just like owning face, she like gets her ass kicked and then finally pulls out a gun or whatever and finishes him off. And it's like, that's the only time I've ever seen. You ever see Street Fighter 2, the animated movie?
I was gonna bring up Atomic Blonde.
Oh well, the reason why I want to bring up Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, is because that movie caught all sorts of crap for being sexist because there's a sexy shower scene with Chun-Li. But the whole point of that scene was to show that even when Chun-Li is naked and vulnerable at her weakest, she is still more than a match for freaking Vega, the guy with the claw.
I mean, have you seen Chun-Li's thighs?
Exactly.
Like, those thighs have saved so many lives.
Well, he like the hunter becomes the hunted because he's like you're weak and I'm going to kill you like a rabbit, and she beats the shit out of him to the point that when Guile and he's like he hears word, he's like, oh my god, they put a hit out on her. I got to race to go rescue her, and the car pulls up just in time for Vega's corpse to be kicked out of the third story into the friggin' car. And it was like, oh, that was so satisfying.
Can I tell you, like, there's a story that I've always wanted to write where so the big bad kidnaps the girl, okay, and so they spend like a third of the movie going to rescue her, and so they're about to go into the back entrance, and the back entrance opens and it's her. It's like, wait, how did you get? Wait, you were captured? And she says, yeah. How else were we going to get inside the castle? I don't know. I've always wanted to do that kind of like subversion. Like, I'll probably do that story someday. It's just something I've always wanted to tell. Even Cleopatra Jones. Yeah, like, we've had female actors in history where, like, you legit think they go like Grace Jones. You know, like, Grace Jones is probably one of the few women who can stand beside Arnold Schwarzenegger and be like, okay, yeah, I can see why Conan is fighting with her. And then like modern day Gina Carano. Like, I'm sorry, your average male is not going to be able to stand up to Gina Carano. I'm sorry.
You ever watch AEW? The ladies of AEW? Oh my god. Yeah, some of those went like, I'm jealous of some of the traps these chicks have. I'm like, good for you, girl. Like,
like China. Like oh my god.
Jade Cargill. Oh my god.
Rest in peace, you beautiful lady. Oh my
God, yeah. Yeah, China was, she's from my area too.
She deserved better. Like,
she did.
I loved how even in the WWE, they treated her like a male wrestler for the most part. She even won the middleweight title at one point.
Yep.
Oh my god. Just imagine if her and Triple H had actually, well, to be fair, like if she had actually been with the company longer and they pushed her more. Imagine the things they could have done with her character.
Well, Triple H screwed her over because he
literally he got with the boss's daughter.
Yeah, he got with the boss's daughter and just freaking abandoned her. And it was like, because Paul, Triple H, and Joni, China, were from my neck of the woods. When I was in college, my roommate, he worked at a gym, and they would go in the gym all the time, like down here. Like, they were just the people, you know?
And they hung her out to dry, and like, oh, she's too mentally unstable. We need to get loose of her. Well, how about you not have your, like, they could have done better by her.
Yeah,
I
I don't envy any wrestlers,
obviously she's distraught because the man she loved abandoned her, and
yeah,
I
don't
hope,
envy any wrestlers.
I hope when Triple H heard that she died, I hope part of him was sad. I really hope he felt something when he died.
Yeah, I kind of lost respect for Triple H after that. Like, he clearly slept his way up the McMahon family.
I mean, that's kind of a bit of a reversal, but
yeah, it's a shame because well, that's the thing is, like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, professional wrestling is probably one of the hardest jobs in show business. Like, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And those people don't live long lives. Like, there's no retirement plan in professional wrestling.
It's hard on both the men and the women because both genders need to keep up a certain physique.
Yep.
I might even say it might even be harder on the men because the men are pushed to do steroids.
Oh yeah. And not only that, but like all the injuries that they sustain, and they have to keep going on every night, so they're on painkillers. They get addicted to stuff. Like that
one woman, the one who had the Wrestling in the Family movie, Paige. She had a really bad neck injury, and WWE wouldn't let her back in. I think she's on AEW now. But she tried to do streaming as Paige, but they wouldn't let her use her name, her stage name. And that was really stupid. That was really
Yeah, I feel bad because they do other stuff.
She seems like a nice lady. She seems like a nice lady, honestly.
They all, dude, it is amazing when you go to a convention and you see what these people like, because a lot of the times, or here's the one that got me. So I follow Matt Hardy on Twitter, and he had lamented about how his brother was being taken advantage of. Somebody, like a whole bunch of people at the airport, had caught word that Jeff Hardy had a flight that was landing at their airport. And this dude, who is probably traveling for business or personal, whatever, it's a late flight, comes limping off the plane because he's been on, in the air forever, is bombarded by people asking him for autographs and stuff. And you know what he did? He graciously signed every one of them and talked to these guys until he gave them what they wanted and they left.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good person. Like that. Yeah. That's not something that you can fake,
Yeah. Like you can tell a lot about the wrestlers afterwards. Like, for example, Bret Hart. I get that he's been had like a really bad luck.
Yeah.
But he does come across like sour grapes really bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. That's kind of a shtick, though. Like the whole like toward the end, remember he had the gimmick where he hated Americans, but he loved Canadians, and then he got the Montreal screw job, and then Bill Goldberg kicked him in the neck and gave him a freaking stroke.
I mean, the Montreal screw job was probably the best thing that ever happened to WWE. That was the beginning of the Attitude Era, because that's what birthed the Mr. McMahon character. And if it wasn't for the screw job, WCW would have won. Like they were kicking the asses. The Attitude Era.
Nitro. Yeah. God, Nitro was so good, dude. NWO.
Yeah. Man. But the problem with the WCW is they're one trick pony, and they knew it with the NWO.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just started adding legions and legions of people to NWO. Then they had the Wolf Pack and the Red and Black, and it was like, oh.
And even when they brought the NWO to WWE or whatever, they were doing the same shtick, you know.
Yep. And it was the Generation X versus NWO. I was like, oh god, guys, like, I don't know. They're like all of those actors, though. They're a combination of a soap opera actor, a gymnast, an actual like fighter, and a stuntman. Like,
yeah, like
those are multiple roles.
And it is acting because, like, from what I hear, HBK, he's like the nicest guy if you meet him in real life. From what I hear.
Oh shit. Yeah, I don't want to meet. So one of my favorite wrestlers right now is MJF. Obviously he's a Hebrew guy, but no, he's from AEW, and in my opinion, he's carrying the company. But like, MJF is basically Rick Rude meets Stone Cold Steve Austin meets Mr. Perfect. Like, the guy's got it all, and his shtick, though, his kayfabe is that he's an obnoxious asshole, and that's why I don't want to meet him, because he never loses kayfabe. But I bet in his like in real time, he's probably a really great guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's like, as much as I don't like Hulk Hogan, I see how he is with fans.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, okay, you're kind of a shitty person, but like I saw this video with this kid who couldn't have been like more than 6 years old, like Hulkamania, and he was like,
yeah, I saw that. Kid. Let me tell you something, brother.
It's like, I'm sorry, but anyone who is that good with kids, I can't help but like at least have some respect for, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he may have a problem with the truth. Everything he says is bullshit.
Apparently he's going to be a guitarist for Metallica. Lars Ulrich's like, I have no idea. This guy's never spoken to me before.
See, like, the thing I love about Hulk Hogan's lies is there's always a kernel of truth to him. Like, because Hulk is actually a pretty decent guitarist.
Yeah, there's a gift of him.
He was in like the rock scenes, you know, in Minnesota. You know, so it's like you could imagine that it could happen. You know, the early version of Metallica or something. You know.
It's so funny though. Just like, yeah, brother. Let me tell you, like, I was auditioning. I was going to be the lead guitarist for Metallica.
Can you imagine the timeline? Can you imagine the timeline where he actually was the bassist for Metallica?
Well, they cut to Lars Ulrich, and he's like, he's never spoken to James Araya his entire life. It's like, also, you know, like the fact check.
Also, I love Dave Mustaine because he's still salty about like being kicked out of Metallica, but he's kind of like proved them wrong. Like, he's built a successful band on a successful, like, obviously not as big as Metallica, but you know, they actually did a show once where like Megadeth and Metallica performed on stage at the same time, but like a bearing the hats kind of thing.
Yeah, I miss that 80s, like I mean, it kind of died off in the late 90s, but like
it died off in 1991 when Smells Like Teen Spirit was released.
Yeah, actually, that is a very good point.
That is considered the death knell of hair metal was that album's release.
And it's so sad too, because I liked the grunge stuff. Like, I don't do drugs, so I'm kind of a square edge when it comes, or a straight edge when it comes to that. I just, you know, I'm not into drugs, but I loved all that music for that time. It's funny too, because like Eddie Vedder's the only one that's still alive from all the grunge music. The hair metal guys are all still alive, and yet all the grunge stuff, they all died of drug overdoses and stuff.
It's always really funny when you look at like the hair metal guys when they talk about the transition in the 90s. Like, I remember Vince Neil was like, "Oh yeah, the 80s were all about partying, and then the 90s came along and everyone was sad." Like, you can tell they're still bitter about grunge taking over. Like, you can tell.
But there was a change in culture, because grunge did make it cool to be so downer and dour all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I miss the upbeat 80s. I miss
Yeah,
You know, the
it's
Van
like people
Halen,
were done.
like,
It's like the tail end of disco, where people were just done with disco and they wanted something else.
Mhm.
Like if you look at like metal from like 89 to like 91, it's all ballads and it's all, you know, like Warrant and all that stuff. Like metal was in a really bad place in the early
yeah.
90s, in like 90, 91.
Yeah, and that's probably why when Metallica came back after their great hiatus from the Black Album, when they started with Load, I remember my buddy who was a big metalhead. He puts the CD in, and he's like, he goes to the first song and there's no metal. It goes to the next song, there's no metal. What the hell? Ah! And he pulls it out of the back and throws it across the library, and it shattered.
It kind of reminds me of when Motley Crue went grunge in the 90s. They released a grunge album. It was totally terrible.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Because people got to realize most acts have like a 5-year shelf life. Not every act is a Foo Fighters. Like Foo Fighters actually had I'd say like almost a 20-year run. Like they were relevant from like 97 till I'd say 2015. Like
yeah.
20, you know. I mean, Foo Fighters is pretty much done now because I'm sorry, like Dave Grohl was kind of banking on his family man, like wholesome image, and now that he had he's revealed he's just as bad as everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that shattered a lot of people's preconceptions.
Yeah. Well, that, and I think I mean, as much as I think that Dave Grohl is a very talented musician and artist, I think the success of the Foo Fighters was banked solely off of the tragedy of Nirvana. Like, I think the popularity came about. They're like, "Oh, that's the guy from Nirvana."
It definitely pushed it over the top. But Dave Grohl was a talented musician, and
yeah,
honestly, the Foo Fighters would have happened regardless, because Nirvana was already on a path of breaking up, and so even if Kurt had survived, they maybe would put out one more album, and then Dave would have done the Foo Fighters.
Well, I remember reading somewhere they were talking about, like, so a lot of times if you look at like a discography or whatever of albums, like the debut album starts off really strong, and then the sophomore album, that pretty much defines whether or not they're going to be a super successful hit, and then by the third or fourth album they start to trend downward. And with Nirvana, it was a vertical climb the entire time. Like Bleach was okay, not great. Then Nevermind came out and it was a smash hit. And then In Utero came out and it was even better than Nevermind.
Well, the problem with In Utero was it was pretty much sold off of the success of Nevermind. Like they changed their sound drastically, and a lot of people didn't like In Utero. So it was really the third album that would have made or break them. Like I think they would they probably would have sold, their third album probably would have sold well. But depending on the sound they went, because if you listen to You Know They're Right, they were going in kind of a post-grunge direction.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, I love. You Know You're Right. That's a great song.
Yeah. I love the Unplugged album the best.
Oh, that's my favorite album. That is my favorite album.
It's so good.
Yeah, and like Kurt was talking about doing an album with Michael Stipe, like an acoustic album.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, that was something that was talking about being happened.
REM versus damn.
Yeah, they were all in the same scene. I think what would have happened is they would have done one more album, broken up. Foo Fighters would release the first album like 98, 99. Kurt probably would have put out a solo album in 2000, 2001. And then in 2007, 2008, when the emo rock movement came out, which, by the way, emo rock movement was entirely, like, if you look at all those emo rockers, they all credit Nirvana as an influence. So I guarantee you Nirvana probably would have reformed at some point, probably 2007, 2008, and probably done a tour to capitalize on the emo boom.
Yeah. It would have been like grunge emo or whatever. You know, they've been like, look, we were grunge, now we've evolved into emo, and yeah.
And you would have seen some collabs like My Chemical Romance and Kurt Cobain or something. Or like one of those bands would have collabed with Kurt Cobain. Also, here's the other thing. Everyone would hate Kurt now because he was a fucking feminist. And he was a bit of a contrarian. So Kurt would have gone one of two ways. He would have gone the Johnny Rotten route.
Mm-hmm.
Or he would have I think he would have just been like
a wacko lefty.
He would be campaigning for Kamala.
Yeah, well, that's what happened with like Rage Against the Machine and Green Day, because they're like, oh, it's punk rock, and you remember, fuck you, I won't do what you told me, and then all of a sudden it turns into, do what we tell you, and it's like,
well, the problem with Rage is they were like really trying hard to, like, they were communist, like they really leaned hard on like the communist stuff. Green Day was just punk, and they're just kind of punk and Green Day is now just punk and aesthetic only.
Yeah. Well, I remember when the whole 9/11 shit happened, and they did that album, with Wake Me Up When September Ends and American Idiot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was all about like F you George Bush. And I'm like, well, yeah, I can get behind that because I didn't like George Bush either. And like this whole,
also,
why are we going?
If you actually listen to that album, it's really a transition. Like you can hear them transition from their old sound to the emo sound they had in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like the first half of the album, like Holiday, and then once you get like literally it's Holiday, and then when you start to do Wake Me Up, like it's literally like the Holiday kind of goes, and then they have this transition into I Walk, like it's really a transition. It's
Boulevard of Broken Dreams,
yeah, thank you. Like you listen to the album, it's kind of jarring if you actually kind of think about it.
But it I understood like the rage against Bush and all that stuff, because I'm like, they're embroiling us in a war that we don't deserve. Like going and attacking Saddam Hussein for something that Bin Laden did is freaking stupid. Like weapons of this is stupid. Why are we sending Americans to die over that? So I can totally get it. But then it turned into, oh, now everything is pro-Obama and all this stuff, and now it's like they're so left-leaning, like they're like anti-Trump, and it's like, dude, you're not punk anymore. You're part of the system.
I mean, it's. I think we need to realize it was never we're against the system. It's we're against your system.
Yeah. It really did. It dispelled the illusion. It made me retroactively dislike them, because it's like you're all honestly dishonest shills.
I have more respect for Johnny Rotten now than I ever did in the past. Like Johnny Rotten is the only one who's still punk.
He's got balls, man. The dude kept to his principles, and he's like, I never thought I would be siding with the freaking uptight Republicans and the conservatives over this shit. Whatever the hell happened to the liberals, the stuff that we started back in the 60s and 70s, it's gone to shit. These guys are commies. And it's like, wow, that's John Rotten freaking saying that from freaking Sex Pistols.
It is so weird. Like, and this the problem is, we're talking about hair metal rockers. Like in the 80s, you had Dee Snider just strolling the Congress wearing skin tight leather jeans and literally say to Al Gore's face that his wife is into BDSM.
Yep. Yeah, and he fought for our rights.
The balls.
Yeah, and it goes from Dee Snider fighting against censorship from bored politicians' wives to Dee Snider denouncing conservatism and like hating half the country. Like, telling
it's just
to go for it. And it's like, what the hell? Like, I want my culture back. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. We went way off topic, but all right, Chris. What do you got going on? Where can people find you?
Sure. Can I just copy the link into the chat? Do I have like?
Yeah, I'll post it. I mean, we got no one watch. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get some signups for the mailing list for Infinitel Chronicles Book 2 to see if there's any interest in it. If I can get it to 100, then we'll launch the campaign. And I'm obviously going to be different milestones. I'll start, releasing more, I guess, goodies. Like, for example, if you sign up to the mailing list now and we actually make it to the campaign, you'll get a link when the campaign launches for the 5x7 exclusive holofoil card that you can't get on the campaign otherwise. And in addition to that, I might actually start doing some other exclusive perks at different points. But my goal is to get to 100 signups so that I can launch the campaign, because otherwise, if I can't get to that, then it means that there's not enough interest, and I don't want to sell a product that there's no interest in.
All right, so sign up for his stuff live. So I actually also do have signups available. I should have posted this earlier, but got kind of caught up in the thing. So Screecher is launching a week from today. So next week we are doing the launch stream for Screecher number 3. We're going to be launching it live on this stream. It's going to be a co-stream with Jared. So if you haven't yet, sign up on the link below. My goal is to get 50 followers by the time we launch. Got a week to get there. I'm going to try my darndest. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. And as always, remember, always, I love having you on here. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one to walk through it.